Hello and welcome to the second IFSC Lead World Cup of 2013. We are here in Imst at the Kletterhall, which you can see just behind me, one of Austria's most prestigious climbing centres. Over the past few years, it has played host to several huge international competitions, including multiple World Cups, a European Championships, and just recently another European Youth Championship, which saw 29 different national teams gather to compete here at Austria's highest climbing wall. The outdoor wall itself is 22 meters high. It is home to over 200 different routes, some of which have an overall route length of over 28 meters. It sits in the beautiful Guggental Valley facing the Mutterkopf mountain. Well, we are about to get things underway with the semi-finals here in Imst. If you missed any of the action from the qualification round earlier this morning, just to recap a few things and how people have qualified. In the men's, the only two male athletes who have made it through with two tops are Sachi Amma and Jakob Schubert. No real surprises there. We also have Ramonet, who makes it through in 9th place, and Magnus Midtbo made it through despite having his first climb capped after the 9th hold for passing over a piece of black tape. He makes it through in 14th place. In the women's then, we have three tied firsts, three female athletes that have managed to top both routes. They are Ellen Janiko of France, Mina Markovic of Slovenia, and also Magdalena Roek of Austria. We also have Kim Jae-in coming through in 7th place, and Dinara Fakhritinova, our new European champion, making it through in 8th. The interesting one to keep an eye on as we move forward, though, is Jessica Pills, this young youth athlete, 16 years old, who has just become European Youth Champion here at Imst just a few weeks ago. Obviously still on a high from that victory. She qualifies in 10th place, and it's nice to see some of the younger athletes giving some of the more experienced, older senior athletes a run for their money. All that and more still to come. 26 male athletes, 26 female athletes. We now move forward into the semi-finals. Welcome back. Let's have a look at the start. Well, welcome back. We are ready and about to get started. Let's have a look at the men's start list first. Before we take you over onto the wall to have a little look, there are 26 male athletes about to come out. The athletes have already had their observation time. We are just getting ready for them to come out and begin. Here we are then. Hakamada Naoto, first out for Japan, followed by Sebastian Helenki and Francesco Vetterata. Those are our first three. This is the first page. This is in reverse order from the qualification round. These athletes were the lowest to qualify through to the semi-finals, and that lowest athlete was Hakamada Naoto, you can see at the bottom there. Moving further up then, there's Magnus Midtbo, who I mentioned a few moments ago, down in 14th place, still qualifying relatively high and safe enough after having one of his climbs reach an overall total of 9 on the 9th hold. Capped there due to moving over that black tape. Other names that we know as well, Mikhail Chernikov, Urban Primozic, and there is Ramonet right at the very bottom. He's in 9th place. And here is the last page, and the final 8, as they are the highest to qualify from earlier today. Sachi Amma, Jakob Schubert, the only two athletes to have topped both routes, and there are some of our other big names as well, Ramon de Grange and Sean McCall following that one up. These are the women's then. This is the women's semi-final. Irene Zangarita, they're the first athlete to come out and join us, the lowest to qualify earlier on. She's the first one out, with the score earlier 24 plus and a 23. And then moving on up, we've got Tina Johnson Hafsas as well here, Manuela Sigris, names that we've seen before. Tina Sosurzik making it through as well in joint 26th place with Eileen Zangarita. Onto our next page then, Nikki Van Bergen, Evgenia Malinid, Barbara Bakker qualifying as well as Katarina Porsche, Yuki Kobayashi, Maya Vidmar as well, relatively low qualification round for her. See whether she can pull things up again during the semi-finals as we get things underway. There's Jessica Pills, that athlete I was talking about just a few moments ago, sitting in 10th place so far. And here are our final 9 then. Matilda Brumeng, that we've seen a few times recently, doing very well. Dinara Fakhritinova, Kim Jae-in, Jana Sherishneva, Katarina Sarvine, Merk Oder in 4th highest place to qualify, all the way up there for those final 3 The only three female athletes that have managed to top both routes already. Our first athlete out then is Eileen Angarita for the female route, and for the men's, for Japan, we welcome Hakamada Naoto. Relatively close to start then. In a few moments' time, I'll be chatting to the route setters. They're going to come over and have a bit of a conversation with us about what they've set here. The grades have gone up, and the grades have gone up to a 8C for the men's and an 8B plus for the women's. We're going to talk through exactly what makes them that in a few moments' time with the route setters. For now, we start off with Hakamada and Eileen Angarita. Naoto earlier with a score of 38 and 29 plus. 21-year-old athlete from Komagane-shi, Nago-ken. Anybody who's joining us from that part of the world, do give a shout out as Naoto makes his climb of the semi-finals here. He's world ranked 78th. We saw him last year a few times at Imst, at Imst here as well, and at Chamonix. He came 27th at Imst, 39th at Imst, and 27th at Chamonix last year. Next to him, Eileen Angarita for Spain. Joint 26th place to qualify, 24 plus under 23. In the qualifications earlier today, 31-year-old athlete from Huesca in Spain, 42nd at Chamonix this year at the European Championships, 47th at the Women's Bouldering IFSC Climbing World Cup in Kitzbühel this year, and also 46th at Miol for the bouldering competition there as well. Cries of Gamba from the crowd for our Japanese athlete. We have had quite a lot of rain in the break as well. I've had my couch absolutely wet through. We've got umbrellas on the standby, and it is still pattering a little bit. So the reason that we're only covering currently at present Eileen Angarita is that we have actually had a technical issue with one of our cameras due to the rain a few moments ago. We are working like demons to try and get that fixed for you. Hopefully in a few moments' time we'll be able to bring you the other camera as well. That there is the top of the wall that we can see here. You can see the routes are running up towards the prow, which is that middle point there. Women's on the left-hand side, which is this green route you can see there. And the other side of the prow onto the right-hand side, those yellow holds, that's the men's all the way up to the top. We are now route as well. So a long route there for these athletes for their semi-final climb. 21.5 meters in total, this wall height for climbing. And unfortunately, not quite reaching that 21.5. Eileen coming back down now. Round of applause from the crowd for the effort, well achieved. And here we still have Kamada. Pushing upwards here. He came second at the Male Juniors Lead Asian Youth Championship in Singapore in 2011. And that is, so far to date, his highest result at a competition, a silver medal. On the IFSC, the best that we've seen is 10th at the IFSC Asian Championships. She's brought the lead and speed. That was in Guangzhou in China in 2008. So moving up the right-hand side of the prow now, he's just getting up to the very high roof section. Before this route starts to traverse over to the right-hand side, he's going to be following that along. The roof setter's just down here on the ground with me, anxiously looking up. Top this early on in the competition could be a little bit dangerous for them unless Nakano is pulling out an exceptional performance here. For the men's then it's an 8C, and for the women's we're looking at an 8B+. The next female athlete's about to get ready, and there is Nakano coming down to a round of applause from the crowd here as well. A good first performance for him. Is it going to be enough for finals as we now start to move towards the athletes that were higher to qualify from the semi-finals? Remember, you can always get in touch with us on Twitter. Any questions you might have, any athletes you'd like to hear from or hear more about, you can get in touch on Twitter using the hashtag IFSCWC. Our next female athlete is now out for Slovenia. About to start her climb. She was joint 26th, so we ended up with 27 athletes actually coming through in the women's. It's Tina Sesterzik for Slovenia, the 20-year-old athlete from Kran. Currently lives in Zabnica. She's world ranked 46th. Currently, though, on the World Cup ranking so far from this year, she's 23rd. That'll be due to the results in Briançon just recently. In terms of her best results then so far to date, highest for her has been a 5th place at the Female Juniors League European Youth Cup in Kran in 2012. But still competing on the Female Junior Lead and Boulder EYCs up until last year. And next up for the men, who's just about to come out and start his climb, the young gentleman I was talking to earlier today, Sebastian Helenki of Germany. We'll be having a look at him in a few moments' time. We're here now, though, with Tina Sesterzik for Slovenia, starting her climb on the prow. Pausing to clip for a moment. This next section now is going to bring her over to the right a little bit before moving up to these two large sloper holds across to the left-hand side as well. From then on, it's into a more crimp-based section up towards the roof. There is a roof section, a bit of roof work to do a little bit later on. 61 holds all in all to get through here. And Sebastian Helenki, you can just see using the arete there, using the front of the prow to get a bit of a better purchase before moving up. He's going to strike up to the right in a few moments.
Das Ganze für sich gewonnen. Also er kennt diese Location natürlich ganz, ganz genau. Und er ist auf jeden Fall hier, denke ich, immer wieder gern zu Gast, klettert hier gerne auf österreichischen Boden.
Just moved past those slopers and now leans over to the right-hand side again towards the centre of that prow, and this gets into the more crimp-based section. It's going to be interesting to see our athletes negotiating their way around this point. Well, as our two athletes reach a match point almost on the wall now, both moving up at roughly the same speed. I'm joined by our chief route setter, Paul Deville, who is here earlier with us today having a conversation about the qualifications. And now that you've seen the first two climbs for the semi-finals, how are you feeling about the two routes that you've set here for the semi-finals?
Very confident. The routes looks nice, and it works like we have planned with Yanni and Jaco Polaka, so it's all right.
So, talk me through these two routes then. We're now, if we start with the women's on the left-hand side, this green route here, what kind of moves are we looking at? What was the intended plan for this route?
The difficulty for the girls, it's to keep a lot of energy and for the last moves, because the bottom till the roof is not really hard, and then it's getting more and more sustained, and so the difficulty is to be really peaceful and quiet, and to keep fresh energy to the 3-4 last moves, because they are really hard, about 70 in boulder grade.
On a boulder grade, the last 3 or 4 moves. Nice, so a nice surprise waiting for our athlete to the top then here. She's currently in the roof section, so you're saying that this is the point where it starts to get a little bit progressively harder from here on up until the last 3 or 4, which are the main point that you think we're going to see the falls.
Yeah, exactly. In the roof there is no particular difficulty, no big troubles. It's clear for the athletes what they have to do. That's all.
So the beat is relatively easy to read. It's just about having the energy to do it when you get there.
Excuse me.
I was just saying that the beta is relatively easy to read. It's just about having the energy to do it when
exactly,
you get there.
Yeah, exactly. For the ranking and for split the climbers, for the finals it's better. Because if we make too complicated route, it's not working for the ranking, for the split the competitors. So it's better for the finals to have such a route.
So then for the men's, we've just seen Sebastian Halenki coming off at roughly the same point that our first athlete, the Japanese athlete, Hakamada, came out. They both came up at around that point where the prow ends up there. Is that an intended point? That's what is the crux on the wall around the top of the prow here? For the men, what did you intend?
It's not particularly much harder at this place, but I think it's getting 30 moves at this moment, and for the lower one, it's a little bit hard to get enough power to climb more.
Is that to do with the fact that they've already done the 2 for the qualifications today? You're sort of working with the fact that they are going to be tired by this point in the competition.
You mean
for the lower athletes, the lower ranked athletes that are moving through, you're making it an endurance challenge as much as it is anything else.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. For the men, the routes this morning was harder at the bottom, and now it's more peaceful, but you have to endure, to have endurance. Less power, but more endurance for the semi-final.
So talk me from top to bottom for the men's then. What is the point that you think we're going to see most athletes coming off on this route? Is it again like the women's, that it's towards the top, the last few moves?
So I think, I'm not sure, but I think the first feature in the last part is, I think it's gonna be the point for the entrance in final for the men. Perhaps a little bit higher, but two quick draws before the last one. And for the girls, I think normally it's just after the roof, they turn a little bit on the right, and at this moment when they start to turn more on the left, it's the critical point. So it's the last quick draw. Exactly, the last quick draws they have to clip. It's becoming really hard, and the last quick draw for the girls is really hard to clip. Only the strongest girl will be able to clip.
Paul, thank you very much for talking to us. I'm going to let you go off and relax into the competition a little bit. Hopefully try and chat to you a little bit later once the competition is starting to move through, whether you're seeing the kind of rankings that you wanted to see.
Okay, no problem.
Paul, thank you for talking to us. Two new athletes then out onto the wall now. For the women, that is Denise Pluck for Germany with an earlier score of 24 on Route 1 and 25 plus on Route 2. Denise, one of those athletes that we haven't seen that often on the IFSC circuit. She's done very well at German Boulder and German Lead Cups. But in terms of IFSC results for us, we have 35th place at the women's bouldering in Munich, the IFSC World Cup there. That was in 2012. And also an 18th place at the Female Juniors Lead IFSC European Youth Series in Wuppertal in 2008. And unfortunately, a relatively early fall there for Denise. This is what our chief route setter, Paul de Walde, was just talking about. Some of the earlier athletes maybe not having the endurance at this stage of the competition after climbing twice already today for the qualifications. Now to have to push into a much harder route for the semi-finals. It's all about the endurance at this stage in the competition. For the men then, just starting off on his climb here, is Francesco Vetterata. Earlier today, a score of 22 plus on Route 1 and a 28 on Route 2. Brought him through into the semi-finals in 24th place. Vetterata, the 21-year-old from Feltre, currently lives in Sedico, world ranked 19th. Came 12th at Briançon just recently. Before then at the European Championship in Chamonix this year, came 13th. But we are used to seeing him in the semi-finals, a frequent semi-finalist, frequent top 20 place as well, at least in the semi-finals. So not even at the very bottom of the semi-finals, doing relatively well, a very middling semi-finalist. Can he push forward and make it through into his first final on the IFSC circuit? We're about to find out. He's now at one of those points that we've seen the first two male athletes struggle with. The point from here, moving up towards the top of the prow, is where things started to get a little bit tricky for our first two athletes. He's about to reach that point now. Our next athlete out on the women's then. Moving on to Jera Ledenik of Slovenia. Score earlier today of 20 plus on her first climb and 39 plus on her second.
Ladies and gentlemen, now from Germany,
And for the men's, we welcome Christoph Hanke, Sebastian Halenki's travel buddy for the German team. He's now coming out to start his climb at the semi-finals after making it through in 23rd place. 26 plus on his first climb and a 26 plus on his second. He's 19 years old from Olching, world ranked 51st. Multiple impressive results on the male youth A and male juniors lead and boulder categories. Bronze medal at the European Youth Cup in Veliko Tarnovo in 2011. That was the male youth A lead European Youth Cup. 5th place at the European Youth Championships in Imst, just recently here, about 2 weeks ago, the very end of July. So it seems that our route setters have definitely made this all about endurance here at this stage in the competition. Turned it into an endurance challenge for not only some of the lower ranked athletes but also the higher ranked athletes. They're going to be a little bit tired. We're talking to Sean McCall earlier today. He was saying that he can't remember ever doing 3 climbs in one day. So on the left hand side at present we have our Slovenian athlete Jera Ledenik, and on the right hand side of your screen at present is Christoph Hanke for Germany. All of the athletes here in the semi-finals having to climb 3 routes today. Get a long rest tonight and into tomorrow though. Our finals isn't until tomorrow evening, so they get all day to be able to relax a little bit. And as you can see there, we've finally got our cameras back and all in order. The team's been running around like mad, as I mentioned earlier, trying to make sure everything's fixed up. The rain has wreaked a little bit of havoc all over the place when it came in earlier. We've had thunder and lightning in the break, quite a heavy downpour. So Christoph Hanke here. Not too far away from the point where his teammate Sebastian Halenki came down a few moments ago.
ladies and gentlemen, we welcome from Slovenia.
For those of you that are new to the sport, don't know what happens from this point onwards, we take 8 of these athletes, 8 of the men, 8 of the women, so 16 in total. Out of these 52 athletes competing now, 16 athletes, 8 men, 8 women go through to the final tomorrow. And that is graded by who can climb the highest. Looking at the high points for this wall. So, Tina Susterzik. Actually, no, I don't think that is Tina Susterzik. Apologise. Katja Kadik for Slovenia comes out now. A good effort there from Christoph Hanke. Now coming down, it's looking like we've found our cut-off point for the male athletes. It's right around that point at the top of the prow.
nass. Also nass, das ist wahrscheinlich die Luftfeuchtigkeit. Regnet tut es mal nicht hier, aber ja, das Wetter spielt hier anscheinend eine Rolle. Auf jeden Fall danke dir für deine Performance. Und gleich geht es hier weiter mit dem nächsten.
Also hier ist ja sehr jetzt. Soll ich jetzt gerade sagen? Wollt ich alle in Österreich so zufällig wollen? Wie lange Körper gesehen ist mit der was Schnelles? Sag die Ellen, dass du bitte auch nicht mehr mitmachen, weil es alles so fertig ist. Diese machen das Dinger.
Well, I fluffed up a little bit there. We've had a little bit of a mix-up on the start lists for us, and we've swapped two female athletes around. Jera Ledenik is now on the wall. It was Katja Karik, who was out a few moments ago, also for Slovenia. They were tied in 23rd place, which is probably why we've got a little bit confused, both with 20 plus on their first climb and both with 39 plus on their second, both from Slovenia. It's baffled us all the way through. So this is Jera Ledenik now out. Katja Karik has just been out-climbed. A very decent effort for that one as well. And for the men now, is Nakano Minoru for Japan. Starting on this 8C graded difficulty route, 28-year-old athlete from Hiroshima. World ranked 88th. Came 29th at Briançon earlier this year, 15th at Millau for the bouldering, and 11th at the bouldering in Chongqing at the very start of the year, the first IFSC World Cup in general of 2013. He was there. Earlier today, Minoru managed a 28 on his first climb and a 26 on his second. Of course, these are much, much longer routes. We're using the full height of the wall now, 21.5 meters. Unfortunately, Jera Ledenik not quite able to move too far past the slopers there on that one, so no tops so far today, guys, but we are moving up the list towards the highest to qualify. So Jera now moves back behind. As we were talking to Paul a little bit earlier, he was saying he thinks the cut-off point for the finals for the men at the top of the wall is within about the last 8 moves, and for the women is about the last 4 moves of the route. None of our athletes so far have managed to get close to that section of the wall. These are extremely long routes. Manuela Sigrist for Switzerland coming out now. 24 plus on her first climb earlier today, the qualifications, and a 39 plus on her second. I'll talk about her in a few moments' time. For now, we are with Minoru. This section of the wall seems to have been fine for most of the athletes so far. It is the next 2 volumes that have caught the male athletes. Minoru Nakano still staying with us at this point now. Is he going to clip ahead? Looks a little bit unsure of himself here. He's deciding to take a rest. Doesn't look too comfortable either. He's got a bit of a pinch there where he's dropped down, gone a little bit lower now, found a better place to rest. how is he going to work this section here? Moving a hand out to the point of the lower volume. Taking his time, stretching out the arms. All of these athletes here have to bear in mind they're going to have to reserve something for the very top of the wall. However much energy they start to use at the earlier sections, they've got to save some for that last push. Otherwise they're going to be in for a surprise later on.
He's coming up.
Was what Paul was saying a few moments ago. Ledanek here.
Well done.
Resting right towards the bottom of the prow here, not too high at all, taking the time for pushing onto this next section. It's just cost Jera, Slovenian athlete we saw a moment ago. This is Manuela Sigrist now on the wall. So Manuela Sigrist now pushing up. And there you can see where Nakano Minoru has reached at this point now. Just got to make sure he keeps it slow here. Just, you can see, just missing out on that one there, and he hadn't clipped either. It's a big drop there for him. Tried to use a heel hook with the left foot. Just couldn't quite get that heel on. And he comes down, but that is one of the, I think that is the new high point on the wall. Manuela working her way around the slopers here, pushing up into this next section of more crimply based holds. After this next volume, you can see the little grey pyramid creeping into the top of the screen now. Multiple styles being used here, according to Paul as well, saying it shouldn't be too hard. It's a very awkward place to clip there. Shaking a little bit. Well, he was saying that the beta shouldn't be too hard, it should be relatively easy to read. It just gets tougher the further up you go, and it's the final section on this wall that we'll see the division of the finalists. Manuela managing to stick it there, though. Looked a little bit shaky when she was going for the clip. She's getting a few extra holds out of this one, though. Into a pinch section now. Is she going to have enough in her hands after those few moments to be able to carry on from here? Taking a moment to rest. No, pushing ahead. Second pinch, looking shaky here, but can she get that next quick draw? No, she makes a jump, trying to get a plus as best as she can. Manuela Sigrist just approaching the halfway point on the wall there for the female semi-final route. The next male athlete's just warming up and is about to get going. I think it's Orvetschler for... Oh no, it's not. Pardon? We have Thomas Ravanel for Chile. Starting off his climb here, 28-year-old athlete from Santiago. He's been climbing since 2006. He came 43rd at Briançon this year, 47th at the World Championships in Paris last year, 11th at the Rockmaster in Arco last year as well, which was his, is still his best result.
An dieser Stelle auch nochmal einen großen Applaus des Oberösterreichers Kirchen. Ein auch wahrliches Talent hier auch in den Wettbewerben.
Also a keen BMX rider, Thomas Ravanel, starting off his climb here today.
In Wien und in Linz auf den 6. Platz geklettert, auch im Austria Cup im Vorstieg in Saalfelden den 3. Platz. Und im Vorstieg in der allgemeinen Klasse der Damen. Den ersten Platz, meine Damen und Herren, großen Applaus für Christina
Esteban Vangas showing some support for Thomas Ravenel. For Austria, our next athlete is Christina Stutz. Earlier today, 17 on her first climb and a 43 on her second, which is what has seen her through into the semi-final. She's 22 years old from Galnukirchen. World ranked 30th, Christina Stutz. And of her best results, a lot of them are on the female juniors lead and the female youth A lead circuits, are predominantly a lead climber. She came 5th at Annecy in France 2010 and also 5th at Velika Tarnovo 2010. And on the other side of your screen, Thomas Ravenel for Chile. Starting to make his climb towards the prow as well. So Thomas on the right, Christina on the left. Any predictions you might have for our top 8, get them into us on Twitter. You can do that using the hashtag IFSCWC. Who are we going to be seeing through into the finals at the end of this one for tomorrow? Any surprises? Do we think Jessica Pills will make it? 16-year-old athlete I mentioned at the beginning. Qualified in 10th place earlier today. Has just become the European Youth Champion here in Imst just a few weeks ago. Clearly enjoys climbing on this wall.
Thomas, hurry. Come on.
So in terms of some of the riskier moves on this one, the men's is definitely looking like the more challenging, the more interesting one to watch at this point at the moment. Seems to have the most diversity of moves. Women's relatively straightforward, snaking a little bit. It's going to get interesting in that roof section, and as we move up towards the top, getting there is a bit of a problem. This is all about endurance at this stage of the competition. Thomas Ravenel.
Thomas Ravenel from Chile is on its way, and he's doing good.
So Thomas Ravenel here now. About to push towards the section. We've seen some of our male athletes coming down. And Christina Stutz now moving up past the slopers, starting to move over to the right hand side now.
Sie braucht jetzt gleich unsere Unterstützung hier.
Remember as well that you can get in touch with us on Twitter, and already IFSC are asking what the predictions are, which I was mentioning a few moments ago. Do you have your predictions for the top 8 women and top 8 men? We'd love to hear them. Who do you think will be making it through into the final here tomorrow? And I'll keep checking on Twitter and talking to you guys on there. If you want to get in touch with us, log on and use the hashtag IFSCWC. Hashtag IFSCWC. Any questions you might have, direct them to us. Thomas Ravenel still at this point on the wall's taking a long rest here before considering moving on. We've seen a few athletes resting a little bit higher than this. Christina Stutz still powering here as well. Looking relatively calm at this point, not too shaky. Thomas coming down, paused perhaps a little bit too long, maybe got a little bit over pumped. All smiles, nose is coming down. Christina Stutz still going though. Talking earlier as well about some of the other events that we have coming up for you very soon on the IFSC circuit. We have the World Youth Championships. We're going to bring that live to Central Saanich. That's over in Vancouver in Canada. And that is only a few days away now. We'll be over in Canada. Definitely worth keeping an eye on as we see some of the stars of tomorrow moving from the World Youth Championships over into the seniors. We saw Momoka Oda there last year. We also saw Sebastian Helenki, Dmitry Fakirainov. We saw Katerina Posch and Magdalena Roak there as well. So it's definitely worth tuning in for the World Youth Championships. If you want to get involved with the conversation about that and tell us what you're thinking about it, you can do that on Twitter using the hashtag IFSCWYCH. Have a chat to Commander. And we also have Munich coming up, the final installment of the bouldering season. Going out with a bang, wrapping things up there. Stefano Ghisolfi coming out now for Italy. Our 20th athlete in terms of our rankings from earlier today at the qualifications. He qualified in 20th place. 21 plus on climb number 1 and a 30 plus on his second climb. There were only around 40 on that one, so not too bad at all for him for his first set of climbs. He's out here to challenge a much longer route here now though. Stefano Ghisolfi, 20 years old from Torino. And next to him, our next female athlete to come out is Tina Johnson Hafsas for Norway. Stefano starting off here, and Tina Johnson Hafsas then on the left-hand side. Also qualifying in 20th place, 16 plus on her first climb, not too good there at all, but then a 47 on her second climb. There were only 51 holds altogether there, so very nearly a top on her second climb earlier today. That's seen her through into the semi-finals. She's 19 years old, born and lives in Oslo, world ranked 48th. And she came third here, took the bronze medal at the European Youth Championship in Imst just a few weeks ago. She came 7th at the Female Juniors Boulder European Youth Championship in Grindelwald. So she's competed at both lead level and boulder level at the European Youth Champs this year. And it looks like she's just missed out on the final for the bouldering, but she managed to get a bronze medal in the lead. World ranked 48th at present. She has taken a gold medal here on Austrian turf before though. She came first at the Female Juniors League European Youth Cup in Imst in 2012. So she stood on the top of a podium here before. That was, however, in the Female Juniors category. Can she manage to do it in the seniors? It's not unheard of. We have seen some of those athletes from the juniors starting to dominate on the senior side of things.
Aus der Qualifikation sind eingezogen, bei den Damen sind es sogar 27 in diesem Fall und genau in der Hälfte bei 14 bzw. bei 13 gibt es noch eine kurze Pause und zwar einen sogenannten Putzstopp. Da wird die Route nochmal durchgeputzt, um allen oder möglichst den meisten Athleten und Athletinnen hier gleiche Bedingungen zu gewähren. So ladies and gentlemen, we have a short break after 13 climbers and after 14 female climbers for the cleaning to make the conditions equal for everybody. Diesen beiden hier zuzusehen, wie sie hier ihre Situationen lösen. Stefano Bisolfi ganz, ganz gut unterwegs. Aber auch links daneben die Tina Johnsen from Norway. Forza Stefano, forza!
That was starting to look good as well there for Stefano Bisolfi. Unfortunately didn't quite secure it. A good effort there though from him. We're into our top 19 athletes now from the qualifications earlier today. Tina though approaching the roof here. She's going to move round to the right hand side in a few moments time.
Coming up, this is a very hard part. And that's your applause, Tina. Nice one.
Fantastic effort there from Tina Johnsen-Hassas. One of the first female athletes to really start having a good crack at the roof. Section here starting to move up that way. Very good performance from her. Young athlete. Took a bronze medal just recently at the European Youth Championships in Mead here in Imst.
From Slovenia, Martin Bergant.
So our next male athlete, Martin Bergant of Slovenia, qualifying in 19th place earlier today with a 29 on his first climb and a 27 plus on his second. I'm giving you these because it is always worth bearing in mind that these athletes have already climbed 2 routes today on a 21.5 meter wall. They went up to around about 18 meters in terms of height on their routes, and when you see that some of these athletes have climbed around 25-30 holds upwards on 2 routes already, you get a sense of scale of the kind of endurance these athletes are going to have to pull out of the bag if they want to see themselves through to the finals here today. Shout out to Alina, who is joining us on the Twitter feed, saying, watching the League World Cup in Imst semi-finals live. Climbers look calm, and I'm very excited, although there isn't any Finns. There's one Finn. That was a really bad pun I was talking about. But yes, no Finnish athletes making it through into the semis here. Where is Anthony Gulsten actually? That's an interesting point. Hannah Beer for Germany, starting her climb here. She qualified earlier, 19th place with a 37 plus and a 39 plus. Again, just bear in mind how high that is. The routes went up to about 40 holds in general on all of the routes. 50 for some in the qualifications, but it was around 18 meters in height. They're currently now going all the way up to 21.5 meters to have climbed that high, a 37 plus and a 39 plus already today. Now starting on again here after only about 3 hours break. Athletes have to be very physically fit to be able to come back and climb again here today. And it was actually an interesting point on Twitter. The athletes do look particularly calm. Haven't seen any shakers really. We saw Manuela Sigris looking a little bit unsure on her feet earlier, but a lot of these athletes seem very calm, collected. No shakes.
2 weeks ago he was performing very well.
Hannah Bear very focused here as well. You can see at the start of this route, goes relatively straight, then snakes a little bit, then it dives over to the right hand side for the women, and then it goes all over the place as you move from the roof towards the top.
Martin Bergant, ladies and gentlemen.
Martin Bergant,
And it's your applause.
sounding almost like he was surprised off the wall by the local MC here. He said his name and then he fell. Curse of the MC. Back down on the ground. Now though, Hannah Bear with a drop, needs to do a bit of a rest here and clip in. Still relatively early on in terms of how long this route is all in all. 61 holds for the female route here. Hannah Bear only just scratching the surface of that one. Somebody joining in saying that their money is on Ramon and Kim Jae-in. Do you mean which Ramon are you on about? That's what I want to know. Is that Ramon Julian Blanc, Kim Jae-in? That's a pretty safe bet, I think. It's a pretty safe bet in terms of making it through to the finals. I want to know who thinks there's going to be some surprises coming through to the finals. Will we see Jessica Pills pushing forward? Hannah's getting a lot of support down on the ground here at the moment. Fortunately, not quite enough to see her all the way up.
Und das nochmal einen großen Applaus hier für Hannah Bear aus Deutschland.
Down again then, Hannah Bear, as we get ready to start things off with our next male athlete for Austria, Bernhard Rock. Magdalena's brother, 21 in his first climb, 38 plus in his second, and this is where he needs to reach if he wants to find a chance of getting through into the finals at the moment. In all honesty, he needs to go even further than that, because as we start moving along, these athletes are just getting higher and higher on the ranking altogether. But it is Nakano holding the high point at the moment.
Auf die Wettbewerbsbühne kommt aus Slowenien. Auch hier
57 holes all in all on the men's route.
Ins Finale zu kommen, meine Damen und Herren. Maja Wigmar.
Bernard Rock just starting off here. And coming out for the women's now, about to make her climb in the semi-finals, Maya Vidmar. We'll take you over and have a look there in a few moments' time. Bernard then earlier with a 21 and a 38 plus. Saw him through in 18th place to the semi-finals. He's only 17 years old. He's from Landeck, world ranked 82nd. Looking at previous results, we have a gold medal at the Male Youth A Lead European Youth Cup here in Imst 2012. Also a bronze medal at the Male Youth A Lead European Youth Championship here in Imst this year. Plenty of gold medals on European Youth Cup series as well. Another one in Imst in 2011, one in Moran 2011, Pau 2011, and Cran 2011. All gold medals for Bernard Rock. Maya Vidmar then. Very familiar face and name for us on the lead circuit. Had that unforgettable run of 7 straight wins in 2007. Actually, I think it was 6, actually, sorry, my bad. 6 straight wins in 2007. Still pretty fair going. We had Anna Storr pulling a similar stunt this year in the bouldering circuit. Then Maya Vidmar had that finger injury that took her out after those 6 consecutive wins. She missed out on the rest of the season following it. She has since injured both, same finger on either hand, Maya Vidmar has.
Das Ziel vor Augen, sich zu qualifizieren für das Finale morgen um 19:30 Uhr.
As I was talking earlier as well about the Slovenians' gyms and how they train. We went to see them when we were over there a little while ago. Maya is another one that trains in a boulder-only gym for the lead season. Maya on the slopers here then, so 61 holds all in all for the women and 57 for the men. Here we are, an interesting prediction, or at least a hope, from Jimmy van Rijn, saying I hope to see Nicky van Bergen in the finals. Go Nicky. Bernard Rock. A very good effort for him, but unfortunately coming down just on the cusp, I think, of making it through into the finals as it stands at the moment. Probably see as well the rain coming down here at the venue. The conditions have been a bit strange here today. We started off relatively okay. We were told that there was going to be thunderstorms and rain here. We weren't quite sure exactly how much, but then we had a thunderstorm in the break. It really started pouring it down. It's kind of gone a bit crazy on our technical equipment here, sent them a little bit doolally. We're doing our best to make sure that everything's still working. The climbers, the condition here is very moist. The air is very moist. It's not warm at all, it's quite cold if anything. But it is wet, it is moist. Hopefully that's not going to cause too much of a problem with clogging up the chalk on the wall. The routes will be cleaned as well at some point, I'm sure. try and keep the standard fair across the board. Our next male athlete that will be joining us now is Daisuke Kasahara of Japan, earlier today with a 28 plus on his first climb and a 28 on his second. Kasahara, 24 years old, from Nagano, came 22nd at Inzai in 2012 and 19th at Mokpo in 2012. Other than that, we have very little information on him on the IFSC circuit. Maya now starting to push in towards the roof. This is going to be the thing to keep your eye on as we start to move through the next few moments. Left-hand side of your screen. So this is the roof section here now. The roof has a higher chance of being affected by the rain, but it does still look like it's under cover. And that wasn't a deliberate pun, no. It is still covered a little bit by the very top of the wall. The roof is, funnily enough, not actually near the roof of the wall. So this section should be fine. If anything, the final few holds are going to be the ones that could cause the most problem for the athletes. So we've already been told by Paul that was a problem. At that point would cause the most issues for the athletes. If they're wet as well, then we could definitely have a problem. At the moment they're looking okay. No one seems to have stopped anything, but Maya has come down a little bit frustrated there. Not entirely sure what happened. Very good effort though. It's pushing her right towards the top of the female ranking so far. It's whether or not she's going to be able to stay there as the other athletes come out. She was definitely not happy with the fact that she did come down at that point. Obviously felt like she had a little bit more get up and go in her. Kasahara
from Japan. He's on his way. Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you on the stage within the semi-final from the Ukraine.
So our next female athlete is about to come out and join us for the Ukraine. She qualified earlier in 17th place. It is Yevgenia Kazbekova. She qualified with a 37 plus on Route 1 and a 40 plus on Route 2. Kazbekova, only 16 years old. Athlete we are currently watching on our screen though, male athlete for Japan, is Kasahara Daisuke for Japan. And here is Yevgenia Kazbekova for the Ukraine. That 16-year-old athlete, she's currently world ranked 53rd. She came 5th at the European Youth Championships here in Imst 2 weeks ago, and came 5th also in Grindelwald at the Bouldering European Youth Champs this year as well. Her best result so far to date was first place in the female Youth B lead category at the World Youth Championships in Edinburgh in 2010. So we do have a World Youth Champion in Yevgenia Kazbekova. That was in female Youth B category. It's the youngest category the athletes compete in at the European Youth Cup. She is only 16 years old, remember, and that was 3 years ago. You do the math. So Kasahara now pushing up into a space in the finals as the results stand so far. Just coming down there. Very good effort though for Kasahara. Not bad at all at the moment. He's one of the higher up athletes in that top 8. Still have a lot still to come though. Athletes that will definitely give him a run for his money. And these are the standings for the women's at present. So Tina Sosterzik, who is actually one of the first athletes out, one of the lowest to qualify, is currently still holding the high point of 48, right at the top of the roof there. An athlete in the men's to watch out for as well later on, Urban Primozic. Do we think we might be seeing him through into the finals? It will be the first time we've seen him in a final since 2011 on an IFSC event, that is. He competed at Cran last year and came 9th, just missing out on that spot. He'll be coming out a little bit later, so another one to bear in mind. If you have any predictions, get them into us on Twitter using the hashtag IFSCWC. Who do we think will be in that top 8? And are we going to see any surprises? Nikki Van Bergen was tied in 10th place. That was a prediction from somebody, or a hope from somebody earlier on Twitter. Nikki Van Bergen and Jessica Pils. I mentioned Jessica, so it's only fair that I mention Nikki Van Bergen as well. Will they be able to make it through into the top 8? Later on, but Evgenia Kazbekova here now then. Former European Youth Champion. Sorry, World Youth Champion, Edinburgh, 2010. Double check myself there. Former World Youth Champion in Group B category climbing. Starting to move towards the roof now. On the men's, our next athlete out will be Thomas Tarporn. He is out and he is starting to climb now.
And it's your applause, ladies and gentlemen, from the green, Evgenia Kazbekova. Nice one.
Evgenia Kazbekova down. Thomas Tarporn powering ahead here. So, Thomas Tarporn here then. Earlier qualifying in 16th place with a 37 plus and a 26 plus. Born in 1991, German athlete, only 22 years old, from Shenzhen. World ranked 13th. Came 8th at Briançon this year, making it through into the final. Came 8th here also in Imst in 2012. 7th at Chamonix 2012. These are the finals that we saw him make that year. Took that bronze medal at Log Dragomer and also at Huaji in 2010 on a lead circuit. That one at Log Dragomer was a bouldering event. But still an athlete that's well within a good chance of making it through into the final. Yuka Kobayashi is about to get ready to climb here as well for Japan. She's down on the ground. She'll be starting in a few moments' time. Can Thomas give us a new high point on the wall here? What are your thoughts on that one, guys? Is anybody in and tuning in to support Thomas on this one? I'd like to know if we have any guys from Germany watching.
And she's off. Vielleicht auch hier jetzt gleich ins Finale für ihn. Dieser Teil entscheidet natürlich jetzt das meiste für ihn. Und hier wissen wir auch, da entscheidet sich für viele. Nicht nur für ihn, aber das ist ein Applaus. Thomas Hauptmann.
Aber sie da auflaufen, was dran, oder? Sie fliegt da gar nicht nach Hause. Wenn die jetzt fliegt nach Hause, willst du mich da noch schaffen?
Jetzt einen großen Applaus für Mario Lechner. Der 15er beim Wettkampf in Kitzbühel, 17. in Innsbruck in diesem Jahr. Und ab 2012 war er mit dabei. Wettkampf in Innsbruck, in Wien und auch in Imst. Aus Ziel, der von Innsbruck. Und setzt natürlich alles dran, hier sich zu qualifizieren, ins Finale zu kommen.
Yuka Kobayashi here then. On the wall, Mario Lechner for Austria. Who is going to be the first athlete to give us a top here? In your predictions, send them in to us on Twitter, hashtag IFSCWC. Which athlete for men and for women is going to be the first athlete to show us a top, show us that this wall can be conquered? The route setters haven't set the bar too high. It is an 8B plus for the women and an 8C for the men. Get your thoughts into us. Let us know what you're thinking. Kobayashi qualifying in 16th place, 35 plus and a 42 plus during the qualification round earlier today. 25 years old, comes from Ibaraki. Best result so far to date is second at Zinning in 2010. She was also second at the IFSC Asian Championships in Guangzhou in 2008. Most recently, she came 15th at Briançon at the Lead World Cup at the start of this season.
Super.
Roughly a month ago, that one. Mario Lechner then for Austria. Another name that we're used to seeing. Lechner qualified in 15th place earlier today, 35 on his first climb and a 28 on his second. Lechner is only 22 years old. Frequently made finals last year. Came 7th at Purs, 6th at Atlanta, 7th at Zinning and 4th at Inzai in 2012. Also took a bronze medal in the men's speed category at the Rockmaster in Arco 2012. Several gold medals at the men's junior lead European Youth Series and European Youth Cups throughout 2010. Yuka Kobayashi coming down a little bit early there as well. It's looking like that high point for Tina Sosterzik. Still looking pretty good for the women's. For the men's, you can see where Mario Lechner is, and he's about to start moving up into that top 8. Still Nakano though, 39. He's the point to beat. And the results as we have them at the moment. You can see that upper section of the wall we were talking about earlier with Paul. We're looking forward to seeing some of the male athletes get up towards that later on. Again, guys, get your predictions in. Who do you think we're going to see topping the routes here in the semi-finals? Are we going to see anyone? Do you think that they look a little bit too hard? Mario looking good here at the moment. Can he hold it though? Can he hold it? Not quite, unfortunately. Very nearly impaled on the prow as well there. Seemed like he wasn't really looking where he was swinging for a moment. Not bad at all though for Mario Lechner. Our next athlete out then for the women is Katharina Posch. Quite heavily strapped forearm there on the right arm. Hannah Wunsch saying, I think Ramon and Jakob will top. I think Sachi might top as well. But I want to see who you think the first athlete to the top is going to be. For the women's as well, do we think we're going to see a top there? Katharina Posch here. Katharina Posch earlier with a top, so we're moving into the upper sections here now. A top on her first climb and a 26 on her second. Katharina Posch, another young athlete, only 19 years old. She lives here in Imst. World ranked 10th already at 19 years of age. Came second at the European Youth Championship in Imst here just a couple of weeks ago. So still competing in the juniors category at the European Youth Championships. Took the silver medal. Had a gold medal at the European Youth Series in Imst here 2010 in the female youth A category, and also a gold medal at Kran in 2010 as well. That was the last time that she took a gold medal though. On the IFSC senior side of things, we saw her come 7th at Briançon at the start of this year, so a very strong start. 9th at Chamonix, just missed out on a place in the finals. Came 5th at Atlanta last year, and also 2nd at Kran in 2011. Magnus Midbo here on the right hand side. This is the gentleman that earlier on today was capped at the 9th hold on his first climb for stepping over the black tape. There was an area of black tape listed on the wall. He was not the only athlete to do it, but he manages to get through into the semi-finals due to the strength of his second climb. Talk about a risky way of getting through. He said that he said to us earlier when we were talking to him that if he made it through into the semi-finals, from then on he thinks he's in for a good competition. So let's hope that that happens for him now. He had that score of 9 on his first climb and then 39 plus on his second, very nearly a top. Magnus Midbo, qualifying in 14th place, now comes out to make his climb of the semi-finals.
Hier im Semifinale dieses Vorstiegsweltcups 2013.
Taking a moment to pause here on that undercling of the volume. Now if Magnus is feeling strong and he's looking strong at the moment, and if he doesn't slip and make a little bit of a rookie error later on, we might be in for a surprise with Magnus when he gets into the roof. Definitely within his capabilities to top this route. Still looking calm at the moment, and Katharina Posch still looking very much in control as well at this stage. We hope for no surprises.
Well done, Magnus. Go ahead, Magnus Midboy.
Undercling there with the left from Magnus. Moving fast here now though. Doesn't want to get too pumped in this section. He's still got a long way to go. Here we are. Taking a moment to think about where he's going. Just still looks very in control of this climb though. This next couple of moves could be make or break for him though. Heel hook there with the left, which is going to allow him to compress. Stay there for a second. You can see where they are on the wall. See how far Magnus still has yet to go. 57 holds in all. These next few moves are critical for Magnus Midboe.
That's a pretty nice move. Yeah.
Interesting here, a bit risky at this point. Forcing to clip in again, still very much in control of this climb, Magnus.
Classic. Magnus and Kati Posch.
See the strength of these athletes when they get to this point. This is another risky move, not too much to go on there. Oh, and that one's just caught him. Just caught him, but a fantastic effort, and that puts him into the gold medal position, or i.e. the first place position to go through into the finals. Also Katharina Posch looking good here. A lot of support from the crowd, obviously. It's Austrian athletes on Austrian turf, and a slip. That was just definitely a slip. That was not a lack of energy or commitment. Just didn't quite get a good enough grip on that hold. Very good climb there for Magnus Midboe though. A high chance that we could be seeing him in the final. It's exactly what we want to see. So Magnus hasn't quite made it, but he's come pretty close. Who else do we have on the men's lead still yet to come that we think will be the first person to top out here? It could be Ramone, you know. The next few athletes. Sergei Efi, Mikhail Chernikov and Armin Termanesen, Primozic as well. Fantastic if we did see a top there, but possibly putting my money on Ramone now. Any thoughts you guys might have? Have a little look at the start lists, see the order of the athletes coming out. Who do we think will be the first to top the men's and the women's route? Still no top so far. There it is on your screen now. There is the point to reach. Obviously the last few climbs haven't just been updated yet, but this is what we have at the moment. So now we can see that Lechner will be in second place, and it will be Midboe that's a little bit further ahead, that around 44 I think. Midboe still quite a way ahead of him, but this is the women's then currently. Sesterzik at this point here. I think Sesterzik might still hold the high point actually. I didn't see Katharina Posch getting that high. She was very close to it, but it was reaching out for a little bit of a lower one, and a slip there that cost it for her. And it's looking like we're going to have a route clean here now as well. So Paul is now out here. So the men's route is currently being cleaned. We are working with Barbara Wacker on the women's route here now instead. Barbara Bakker starting off her climb. 14th place she qualified in earlier today, 38 and a 48 plus out of her 2 climbs. 30-year-old athlete. That white box will disappear shortly, I am being told. Reassured. Volunteer cameramen seem to have started pressing buttons. 30 years old Barbara Bakker, born in Langenfeld, still lives in Langenfeld. She's been climbing since 1993. World ranked 14th.
Überall mit dabei. Beim Austauschcup 2013 im Vorstieg und im Bouldern. Dann Austauschcup in Hallein, 8. Platz.
So these are the results so far as they're standing. Those bottom athletes you can see not making it up into the roof section. And it's Christina Stutz, Tina Johnson-Hassas and Tina Sosterzik who are currently our top 3 for the women's, the point to reach. And here is Barbara Bakker on her attempt here. It's one of our route setters cleaning the men's route just next to her as well. So you're not missing anything over there at the moment. Barbara came 12th at Briançon this year. She came 14th at the European Championship in Chamonix at the beginning of the year. Barbara's best results, 8th place at the women's bouldering at the World Championship in Paris last year. 4th place in the speed category at the Rockmaster in 2012, and also 5th at the Rockmaster lead event 2012 as well. 8th at Zinning 2011, 8th at Purs 2011. So we have seen her in finals before. We saw her at the World Championship finals last year as well. Is she going to be able to make the finals again here?
Natürlich auch hier große Erwartungen im Rahmen dieses Weltcups hier in Imst. Innsbruck war ja schon in diesem Jahr und jetzt hier das große Ereignis in Linz. Und wir sind gespannt, wie sie nämlich hier unsere Barbara Bakker jetzt auch unterwegs und auf dem Weg nach oben.
And there's the housekeeping. That's our chief route setter who we were talking to at the very beginning of our coverage of the semi-finals. That's Paul de Valde, the French chief route setter. He's led the team here. Also has Jan Zabranik on it, who is our chief setter at Briançon. Barbara pacing herself here. Slow and steady, but still very much in control of her own climb. Staying focused at this point. She's going to need to get this clip here, but it's not really a very comfortable position to do so in.
Liebes Publikum, liebe Freunde des Klettersports, eine ganz sympathische Barbara Bakker.
She manages it, but just doesn't quite get any higher than that one, unfortunately. So Barbara Bakker is looking like we're not going to be seeing her in the final. So for the women then, just to bring your attention over onto the women, who do we think is going to be the first female athlete to top here, if we're going to see any of them? Next up is Evgenia Malamid of Russia. After her we have Rebecca Stotz, Nikki Van Bergen, Jessica Pills, Mathilde Brumen and Dinara Fakrutinova. Then of course Kim Dain.
Weiter geht's bei den Damen mit Evgenia Malamid from Russia.
And yep, we've got Jan Zabranik now up on the wall, so both of our routes are currently being cleaned, which means we're going to have a bit of a pause. Interesting, I didn't think they'd do both at the same time. Not much more of the men's route to be cleaned though before we're back at it with the male athletes. Welcome if you are just joining us. We are here for the semi-finals on the same day that we had the qualifications in Imst. Had the qualifications earlier this morning, and these 26 men and 26 women are fighting for one of 8 spots in the finals, which will be bringing you live tomorrow here in Imst, the second IFSC Lead World Cup of 2013. There you can see the weather that we're dealing with. It is still tipping it down. Not quite as strong as earlier. Anyone within the general vicinity of the wall seems to be okay. Here is the men's top 8 as they stand at the moment then. Up to the 45th hold by the look of things. I think it was actually around the 44th. Is it 44 plus? Yes, he was going for the 45th. Magnus came down. Mario Lechner now in second place, and Nakano down into third. Is it going to be enough? We've still got some big names in the men's climbing to come. Ramone hasn't climbed yet, and he qualified in 9th. So quite a few big names still yet to come. Even Magnus isn't safe so far. Tina Sostersik has been holding on to that top spot all the way through this. 48 as the high point for her, Tina Sostersik.
8:20 the final woman. After that, around 9:30, we will continue with the award ceremony here on stage.
You can see the results for the women's as well. I think we're just finishing up. I think Paul is just finishing up on the men's. Yep, he's reached the high point on the wall. Paul is now coming down, and we get ready for our next male athlete to come out. Starting to move towards the real powerhouses of climbing, now the ones that can threaten everything that has happened so far by pushing all of these athletes out of the competition for the finals. They climb to the standards that we're used to seeing from them. Keep those predictions pouring in. Once again, the place to go to do that is on Twitter. You can use the hashtag IFSCWC to get in touch with us there. Jan Zranek still cleaning the women's route at the moment. Here you can see everybody going to hide in the tent at the top of the hill. Few brave souls with umbrellas at the bottom here. This space will be absolutely packed during the finals tomorrow, I assure you. But it is a fantastic venue here. They have catered for all weathers. You can get hundreds of people up in that tent at the top, and there are quite a few up there now watching at the semi-finals. Hidden away over there. We've got a couple gathered here at the base of the wall as well, waiting to watch, and in a few moments' time we'll be getting things underway with our next male athlete. So the interesting thing is Magnus Midbo's high point is below the first volume on the upper section of the wall. You can see that line that runs horizontally across your screen there. That's the very upper section of the wall, and the first volume past that line, the sort of stretched diamond shape that you can see on the right hand side on the men's route, that was the volume that Paul said he expected to see the division of the final, and still none of our athletes have reached that point. Magnus very close to it, but he said from then on is the real make or break time for the male athletes. And you can see right over into the upper right hand corner of your screen near the Rayfison top hold you can see up there. They've still got quite a few holds left to go. 57 all in all for the men's route, and 44 plus is the current high point for the men's. For the women's as well, we haven't seen anybody make it past the roof. You can see that on the far left hand side.
großartige Konstanz, die immer wieder aufwartet. Ist halt einfach ein Wettbewerbstyp und wir sind gespannt.
So again, we haven't seen many of the female athletes getting up into the higher section either, and it was definite that he was saying for the women's, the last 4 moves are the ones that are going to be dividing the top 8, and again, none of the athletes so far have made it to that point. Could all completely change as we move through into the final few athletes rather.
So we'll wait until the cleaning is finished, and then we start also with men and women.
It's looking like it's being announced that they're waiting until the women's cleaning has been finished as well before they bring out the men and women together at the same time again. So we are waiting. Keep those opinions coming in on Twitter. We are keeping an eye on that one as well. There you can see the guys cleaning the wall. And also a reminder to get over onto Facebook and onto the IFSC's page on there as well. Sport Climbing 2020. You can go and click on and like that. Who's been following the bouldering season so far as well? Which was your favourite World Cup so far? We still have Munich yet to come, which is always a fantastic event at the very end. It was brilliant last year. We saw a lot of excitement. And we also have the World Youth Championships over in Saanich coming up as well. And that'll be just next week in Vancouver. We're going to see that one. But when we're talking about bouldering, we also have the climax of the European Championships in Eindhoven.
So, auch hier sind wir natürlich ganz gespannt auf unsere nächsten Athletinnen und Athleten im Rahmen dieses.
So it's looking like we're getting ready to go again here. But yeah, that question still stands. Which was your favourite bouldering World Cup so far this year? If you've missed out on any of the action so far covered in the year by the IFSC and by us on the IFSC's live feed, you can get onto YouTube and watch replays of the finals that we've seen so far this year. Innsbruck was a real highlight for me. The final there, that packed crowd. Also, Kitzbühel was another pretty exciting final as well. Jakob Schubert having to come out and reclimb, if you remember, at the very end of the competition. So our next male athlete coming out for us then. We get things underway again now that the wall looks clean enough to continue. Our next athlete is Sergej Epi of Slovenia. He had a 35 plus and a 29 on his climbs earlier today. He's only 20 years old, was born in Ljubljana and now lives in Skopje Loka, which seems to be a running trend for all of the Slovenian teams. Skopje Loka seems to be one of the main places to go and train. World ranked 58th. But currently in 2013, he's 24th on the World Cup rankings. He came 6th at the Male Juniors League European Youth Cup in Cran on home turf in 2012. Came 5th at the European Youth Championship in Gemozak in France in 2012 as well. His last result here in Imst was 10th last year. Male Juniors League competition of the European Youth Cup. And his highest result so far to date is a 2nd place, a silver medal on the Male Juniors League European Youth Cup in Edinburgh, again last year, 2012. He's only 20 years old. A little bit of a slip there very early on. This section around the arete does look a little bit dodgy. We've seen a few athletes moving quite tentatively on this section here. It just looks a little bit awkward at the very beginning. Maybe it was an intended trick by the route setters to get you pumped a little bit early on. Two very, very long routes here, 21.5 meter high wall, 57 holds for the men, 61 holds for the women to get through, and they have all already climbed 2 routes on this wall today for the qualifications. It is a matter of endurance as we move in towards the end of today, and they get a long rest and they're able to come back for the finals tomorrow if they manage to get into that top 8 spot. So Sergei Epi here now as well. We are waiting for our next female athlete. Not quite sure what's going on here. I'm sure they'll be out in a few moments' time. Having quite a long rest here as well. He's only about 15 moves off the ground. Long way still to go, but pacing yourself could be a good thing here. Remember, as I've just said, it's all about endurance. You don't want to get too pumped, and it looked like that little scare of the slip earlier might have gotten into him a little bit. He's taken a nice long rest there. It's really slowed down on that section. He's going to have to start moving in this midsection here now. Sergei Epi, world rank 58, 20-year-old athlete from Slovenia. It is still raining, just in case you guys were worried or concerned about what was happening here. Luckily the couch is dry though. And we're hoping for better weather tomorrow for the evening. We're going to see a lot of umbrellas here in the crowd tomorrow. And finally, we seem to have found Evgenia Malamid. We'll be starting with the next female athlete here now then. DJ starts to pick up the pace a little bit as we get back into things. Evgenia Malamid qualified in 13th place. So we are moving towards the upper section now. This is where it's going to start getting tense. We're going to start to see some of these athletes knocking out the athletes that have already come out today. She qualified in 13th with a 38 and a 49 on her 2 climbs earlier. She's 26 years old, from Voronezh. World ranked 9th. Frequent finalist. We saw her in Chamonix. She came 8th in Chamonix. She came 7th at Kran. 9th at Inzai in 2012. Just missed out on a final there. 8th at Zinning. So one of those athletes that just, well, at the moment, is just making it into the finals. Ending up quite low in the overall ranking of the final, but just making it through. We've seen better results from her as well, actually, at the very beginning of 2012, and it was here in Imst that she took 4th place, just missing out on a bronze medal in 2012. She has had bronze medals, but only at the Rockmaster in the last few years. She starts on her climb here now. It's looking like the rain's starting to pick up a little bit actually here.
Sergei Epi here from Slovenia, competing really nice moves. Well done, nice one. Woo, that's your boss, Sergei. Und zu seiner Linken, Evgenia Malamid from Russia, and we are wondering how she's going in the upper parts.
Just sorting out some rain cover here because it's definitely picked up a little bit more now as well. Evgenia Malamid moving up towards the sloper, but another slow, controlled start for her. World ranked 9th, Evgenia Malamid for Russia.
Ladies and gentlemen, Evgenia Malamid.
Sergei Efi is now down, and it's looking like we're going to be getting ready for our next male athlete as well. Evgenia still controlled here. A little bit of a look, wince on her face there as she went for that next one. There were a couple of awkward draws on the women's route towards the beginning as well. Worth bearing in mind how much that can take its toll, as well as the holds themselves. If you get yourself into a tricky position and have to mess around trying to clip in a draw, that can burn some energy there as well. Evgenia now approaching the roof.
And ladies and gentlemen, here on stage from Russia, Mika Chenikov.
Teammate about to come out on the men's route as well then. Evgenia Malamid now approaching the roof section of the female route. And next to her, about to start off, will be Mikhail Chernikov for Russia. Earlier today, a 30 plus on his first climb and a 30 plus on his second. Mikhail Chernikov qualifying in 12th place overall, 28-year-old athlete from Voronezh. Just missed out on the final at the European Championship in Chamonix. He came 9th there. But he is an athlete we see in finals every now and then. We saw him come 4th in Chamonix 2012 and also 4th at Cran 2009. Evgenia looking good here now, still looking very controlled. Let's hope that she doesn't slip and make any quick errors at this point here. She's just got to keep steady, controlled.
A
little bit risky, that next move up there. You can see she's only managing to get 3 fingers in on that hold. It's at a bit of an awkward angle as well. She's gone up with the left instead, and it was a good move.
Well done.
This is good. This is her moving up into the top, pushing out to Sturzik. This is where it really gets hard, believe it or not. We've seen a lot of athletes come nowhere near this one. Still looking controlled. She's got to keep the slow pace though. Don't rush now. She's got to get that draw as well by the look of things. Too much too soon, unfortunately. Evgenia Malamid coming down with a fantastic effort there. That's going to see her flying through. At the moment into the final. We'll wait and see as the next few athletes come out. And here is Mikhail Chernikov, who I was talking about a little bit earlier. One of those athletes that either comes very close to a final or manages to just make it in. He came 7th at the European Championships here in Imst in 2010. So he made a finals here before. That was also Interestingly enough, the first year that this wall had been built. It was built in 2010. It's only 3 years old, this wall.
From Switzerland, big round of applause, Rebecca Stotz.
Our next female athlete out then is Rebecca Stotz for Switzerland. We'll go and have a look at her in a few moments' time. Mikhail Chernikov here. There's Rebecca. Rebecca Stotz then coming out for the women now. Can she manage to match Denia Malamid from a few moments ago? That new high point. Rebecca Stotz earlier today with a top on her first climb. She's 21 years old from Erdorf, world ranked 22nd. Competed at the Bouldering World Cup this year as well in Logjagame. She came 8th there, so just missing out on the final as we only take 6 through into the bouldering final. Came 3rd at the Female Juniors Lead European Youth Cup in Pau in 2011. Came 15th at the World Championships in Paris last year.
Welcome, Mika, Ali. Here we go. Come on. Stay tuned. Come on. Stay on. Nice one. Woo-hoo.
And Stotz earlier today, top on one route and a 42 plus on another. Fantastic 2 first performances of today. Can she match it again? And Mikhail Chernikov looking very good there as well, putting in a fantastic effort on his climb, putting him up into that top 8 with ease at the moment. Will it be enough to see him through to the final? We still have some very strong male athletes yet to come. Still no tops though, guys, so keep those predictions coming in on Twitter. Who will be our first athlete to top here today, men or women? Just moving up onto the slopers now, Rebecca Stotz. Nice rock up over the heel there.
Hier vorne mit dabei beginnen, mit denen wir auch gerechnet haben. So zum Beispiel, bevor wir das sehen, nochmal hier ein herzliches Willkommen für Russia. Alma Ter Mianza.
Heel hook with the left. Still working her way along the prow here. We have our next Russian athlete out, which is Armen Termanesin of Russia. There he is, on the right hand side of your screen now, just starting that move up the prow. Interesting to see that he's not really used the arete there, he's found another way of getting up. Starting to use it a little bit more now.
Unter den ersten 8. Aber da kommt noch einiges nach und wir sind gespannt. Hier bei den
Using the
Damen.
corner there to get a bit of an extra purchase before he goes up on the right.
Bei den Damen mit dabei Denia Malamid, ganz klar. Tina Sustasic.
But the screen to watch now as she starts to move towards the roof is Rebecca Stotz, to see how her performance is going to be at this next section of the wall.
Auf dem 6. Rang derzeit Barbara Bacher, was uns ganz besonders freut uns, ist Tina Stütz. Somit 2 Österreicherinnen hier klar drinnen und auf der 8 Jukka Kovac.
Taking a time before making a push for the roof at all here.
Hier derzeit unter den ersten 8, somit derzeit
Looking a little bit pumped at this section as well. It's looking like she's going to try and shake out here.
Finale morgen.
Trying to wedge yourself into the corner. Go for the next clip. Undercling with the right here might give her a bit more opportunity to go up with the left for that next hold. Trust and push with her feet here though to really get into that corner to get the next one. She's still gone up with the right. Toe hook there. This is good for Rebecca Stutz. She's taking her time there to try and shake out a little bit, get ready for the next section of the wall. Every move here though a little bit tricky. A good performance for Armin Terminason, but he's down, and so we look at Rebecca Stutz as she starts to move up towards a potential place in the finals here. Even with the other athletes still yet to come. She manages to stick it. Can she carry on? No. It's an impressive little pop there for a moment. Puts her around second here, I think, on the list that we're looking at of current placements. Evgenia Malamud with the new high place. Stosturzik knocked down again by the new athletes that are coming out. This is where the risk comes into play. Tina Stosturzik, who has been holding that since the very start of the semi-finals. She was in first place at 48. She's been knocked down to second now, and she must be very nervous about now as we start to welcome the final 11 female athletes. Could be seeing Stosturzik drop out of the top 8 and out of the final. Here are the men's while we're looking at this section then, the upper section of the wall. This is what it's looking like at the moment. Still Magnus Midtbo holding the high point of 44 plus, but Mikhail Chernikov with a very good performance there, 42 plus, putting him in second place. Mario Lechner still holding on there with 39 plus as well. Will that be enough to see him through to the finals? Some very strong male athletes still yet to come. We haven't seen Ramonet yet. But here's Urban Primozic, another one that has a high chance of making it through to the finals. Your predictions, get them into us on Twitter using the hashtag IFSCWC. Urban makes a start then. Already controlling his breathing, you can see that.
So, meine Damen und Herren, und jetzt einen großen Applaus für ein ganz großes Talent. Meine Damen und Herren, Riesenapplaus, Jessica Pilz aus Österreich.
Urban clearly very focused here as well, every single move. Earlier today, qualified in 10th place, 38 plus on qualification route 1 and a 28 on route 2.
Gewonnen dieses Jahr den Ausstieg in Wien, in Imst, in Polen in 2013
And here's Jessica Pills, that young athlete I mentioned at the very beginning of today as well, 16 years old. European Youth Champion.
Und wir sind gespannt, wie sie jetzt gegen dieses Semifinale. Eine ganz erfolgreiche Jessica Pilz. Und in Haag kommt aus Niederösterreich, vom ÖRV Haag, und klettert hier auf österreichischen Boden. Und wir wünschen ihr natürlich alles Gute für den Einzug ins Finale.
Jessica earlier today qualifying in 10th place with a top and a 43 plus. We also have Nikki van Bergen still to come and climb for the Netherlands as well. Seeing her in a short while. Urban though, still looking just as focused as he was at the beginning. Very intense climber. Moving quite quickly here though.
Der hier noch top gegangen ist. Wir warten natürlich gespannt drauf, ist es noch jemanden oder gibt es noch jemanden in den Reihen der Damen und der Herren, die jetzt noch anstehen, die hier ans Top gehen. Wir können gespannt sein.
Jessica.
Ist es vielleicht jetzt gleich, ist es später, wir wissen es nicht. Aber wir wünschen unseren Athletinnen und Athleten
also looking very controlled at this point. Urban just resting in this unusual position now.
Auf ganz spannende Momente, tolle Performance bei diesem Vorstieg.
Urban, another one that trains at boulder only wall for league competitions. Jessica Pills, first at the Female Youth A World Youth Championship in Singapore last year. 15 podium positions on the European Youth Cups from 2010 as of the beginning of this year. Also one here in Imst, the European Youth Cup. Urban really making a large pop there. Going for it, unfortunately, not enough to secure it. Back down on the ground now. Looking like it's not going to be enough to see him through into the finals, unfortunately.
Europameisterschaften, alles hat hier stattgefunden und jetzt alles im Fokus dieses Vorstiegswettkampfs. Und alles im Fokus von einer Dame, die eines ist. Jugend-Europameisterin, frisch gebacken, hier in Imst, Jahrgang 1996, vom österreichischen Team Jessica Jessie Pitts.
Crowd getting behind Jessica now. She starts to really progress up the wall. Not far away from the roof. Urban is finished. There is the roof just looming into view ahead of her. Here on home turf, there you can see just moving into the top 8 at the moment.
Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome from Spain, Ramon Julian Pugon.
And here he is, the man that has taken the gold medal away from Sachi Ama at Briançon, the first competition of our year. He also just won the World Games, 2 times world champion, 2 times European champion. Ramon Julian Pugon for Spain coming out now. Are we about to witness our first top of the semi-finals? Mike, the producer, is just throwing out there, he's thinking, although not jinxing, he's thinking maybe no at this one. He's thinking he's going to come up short, which is a terrible pun. Ramone, one of the smaller climbers here. It's not stopped him that often. In fact, we were talking actually in Briançon about Ramone's one and only vice, really. His only vice as a climber is that he sometimes underestimates his own ability to move forward. He can be a very defensive, a very safe climber. And due to that, he can take a lot of time umming and ahhing over one move. And it can burn out a bit of his energy. And it's exactly what he doesn't need to do here on this one. This is all about conserving energy He falls into his usual routine to cause problems. A fantastic effort from Jessica Pills. Pushing right to the top of the pile of the women to compete so far here today in the semi-finals. Back down on the ground now, though. Will it be enough to see her through into the finals? Some very big names for the women still to come as well. Here's one of our first major names for the men, Ramonet, now climbing. Yes, as I said, this is all about endurance, this route, so he can't afford to fall into his usual routine of overthinking. Back climbing is another thing that he does. He'll come back 3 or 4 moves and go back up again at the same, finding a different way of doing the moves that he's already done.
Das ist auf jeden Fall mal Zweite. Das ist wundergut und wunderbar und wundersam und wunderschön. Für Österreich mal eine gute Statistik hier im Rahmen dieser derzeitigen Wertung für das Finale. Da sind einige Österreicherinnen drinnen und jetzt wird es spannend für Holland. Meine Damen und Herren, wir begrüßen Nikki van Bergen, Netherlands.
We also have our next female athlete out now as well. We'll be seeing that in just a few moments' time. So Nikki van Bergen starting to climb as well. Tied 10th place with Jessica Pills from earlier today. Still, no one is safe at the moment. We haven't got into the top 8. None of the athletes that are currently holding the high points are completely safe at the moment. To counter the fact that Ramonet does take his time at certain points and will rethink things, you can see he's getting into that mindset here. If he doesn't feel completely comfortable, he'll hang around a bit until he does. But to counter that, he has got phenomenal endurance. It's definitely going to come into play here. Now starting to push into that top 8. You see reaching out and testing to see whether he can reach the next clip, so it's out the way for him. He doesn't have to think about that draw as he climbs the next section. Fiddling around here a little bit, but he's got it. This next move is an interesting one. It's cost a couple of athletes. Let's line here. Tension starting to build now as Ramonet moves into the top 8 section. Heel hook here, but still not quite as comfortable as he's looked up until this point. Still exceptionally strong. Now he's in a better position. Now he's in a position he can pause for a moment. Before he decides where he's going from here. That heel up a little bit further. This is good now for Ramonet. Currently in silver place, now in gold. This is it. Now this is the point from now on that Paul said, our chief route setter, this would be the point that the athletes for the men's would divide the final few places. Here is Ramonet. This is the point from now on that our chief route said would divide the top 8 male athletes from here on in. Ramonet proving true to form. He's now in the top place position. Looking good, but dare we say, we could be seeing what we want to see here. I'm not even going to mention the word. Ramonet still looking calm, focused, collected, and well within control of his climb. No shakes here so far. Let's hope no mistakes either. Roughly 6 moves away from a top. Wide pinch here as well though. Heel hook. Now he's got to sort this clip out before he carries on, really. He needs to be sorting this clip out before he progresses much further. That's an awkward position to pause in. You can see that arm starting to shake. Very awkward position to pause in. Should have possibly done that a little bit earlier. Just falling short of it. But a fantastic effort there for Ramonet. Ramon Julien Pic-Blanc. Very secure in his points so far. Very nearly there, but as our producer's saying, as he's going off on one saying, I told you it wouldn't be Ramonet. He thinks it's going to be Jakob. Ooh, controversial. Who else thinks that on the Twitter feed? Get him into us. Fantastic effort there for Ramonet. Jimmy was saying, go Nikki, a good effort there. Also Subi saying, come on Nikki as well. And Monira saying, venga, venga Ramon. And a lot of support as well from the crowd here. We want to see that top. Ramonet shaking his head. It was definitely that clip that got him into that trouble. He'd just gone a little bit too far past it, put himself in an awkward position, drained himself at the last few moments, getting that clip in, and it's cost him that top there as well. He looked so strong, so controlled up until that point. Just started to shake. 2 moves away from the top. Brilliant effort there though for Ramonet. Here are the women's results as they stand so far then. Nikki's climb still yet to be added to this list. Evgenia Malamid currently holding our high point at 53. 8 to go, and as I said, none of these athletes are safe at this point now. A quick glance at the men's then before we start with the women's. There's Ramon Julien. You see the difference between gold and silver place. Huge gap.
Und sie hat es auch drauf und weiß, dass sie hier ins Finale gehen kann. Und sie wird jetzt gerade noch gebrieft hier mit den Officials. Und da gibt es noch kurze Wartezeit.
Thomas Ballet now then for France, starting off his climb here. Congratulations coming in for Ramonet from Esteban on the Twitter feed. Are we going to see a top? Mike the producer saying he thinks it'll be from Jakob. And he's saying Kim Jae-in for the women's as well, who I think might be next out actually. Oh no, we have Matilda first, and also Dinara yet to come. Stop getting ahead of yourself, Daniel. Thomas Ballet here then, qualifying earlier in 8th place with a 39 plus and a 29 in the qualification round. 24-year-old athlete from Dijon, world ranked 15th. Currently 10th on the World Cup rankings for this year. That was after Briançon, he came 10th there. Came 12th at Chamonix this year. fifth crown at the end of the season last year, 2012, and that was to date the best result for him on an IFSC event. We'll be getting ready very shortly for our next female athlete as well. That athlete will be Mathilde Brumet of Belgium. In a few moments' time, Thomas Ballet starts to move his way up towards the top of the prow.
Was here in 2012 with an IFSC Climbing World Cup here in Imst and Leeds, also in 2008 and 2006. He was 7th on the Youth Junior World Championships here, and is now fighting for the entrance into the final. Really nice.
Ballet looking very, very strong here. Very close towards that first volume at the top there. This is where it starts to get interesting now with the final few athletes in the men's.
We are checking the results quite soon. Thomas Ballet from France.
So now Ramone is safe, although we would expect that anyway with the 56 plus. That you can see only one move actually away from the top earlier on. Very, very close. Got into a little bit of trouble with that last draw. So Ramone is now safe. We will be seeing Ramon Julien in the final tomorrow. He could go home now and relax. But Magnus Midbo is still having to wait. We'll wait and see as the next few athletes come out whether it will be enough, whether that 44 plus will be enough.
It is Urban Primotic. On the 6th, Maria Lechner still, and that's really nice for the Austrian team. On the 7th, Minoru Nakano from Japan.
We're waiting for our next
and 8th at the moment
athletes to come out now then.
It is Sergei Epi
Moving
from
towards the
Sweden.
very end of today.
But now, we have here in the queue from Korea, Hyu Bin, and he's coming up. And we wish him all the best.
Anikovich Nikolay saying on the Twitter feed, when you're complaining that you're not tall enough for climbing, just look at what Ramon is doing. It's true inspiration. That was a fantastic climb earlier on. Here is Min Hyun Bin, we had the pleasure of speaking to earlier on today. Let's see how he gets on. He's been training over here with Jakob Schubert and Mario Lechner, both athletes through into the semi-final stage here today. Let's see how he gets on. Omar Rubiano saying, final, Ramone. Yes, he's secure. So Min Hyunbin now then makes his climb, and it's looking like the route setters are going to be doing something on the women's route as well. It's interesting. Maybe we've got a loose hole perhaps or something. They can't be cleaning the wall again, I'm sure. I can see Paul moving very quickly up here. He's obviously spotted one thing that he wants to sort out. Min Hyunbin then starting off his climb. Another athlete that we're used to seeing right on the cusp of making it through into the finals. Again, he qualified in 7th place earlier today with a 38 plus and a 38 plus. Hyunbin, 24 years old, from Seoul, same city as Kim Ya-in and Kim Ja-bi, and also Kim Ya-ha, who I never mention, but I should, because it's the other one of the family who's just opened the climbing gym.
And we need to check that out right now.
So yes, Min Hyunbin, 3rd place at the men's bouldering Asian Continental Championship in Tehran this year. Bronze medal there. He took the gold at Mokpo 2012. As I said before, he's one of those athletes that just makes it into the finals more often than not. In Cran last year, he came 8th. He came 8th at the World Championships in Paris last year, and also 8th at Briançon last year. He came 6th at Inzai, 6th at Zinning, then took that gold at Mokpo. That was the first gold for him since 2010, and that was at the men's bouldering Asian Continental Championship. It's looking like Paul was just sorting something out on the wall there. It looks like he's happy with it.
So thank you for checking, and it is all dry. And we continue with
and that's what it is. We're just finding out now. They're just checking that everything was dry up there. Maybe there's been a complaint or something saying that it's not. But Paul has just gone up on the women's route to make sure that it is all still dry due to the rain that is still pouring down here.
And we're waiting for a really nice mate from Belgium. She's a really good performance. Was last year here within this League World Cup 2012. And she returns. And is now backstage and is coming in front. Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome a young lady from Belgium. She was 8th in the World Cup 2012, 13 European Championships in Leeds. She was 13. In the European Youth Series in Imst, 1st place 2008. And before that...
So our next female athlete is about to come out now that that's all been checked and sorted. But at the moment we're still with Min Hyunbin, who is moving up into the top 8. Can he make it in?
Belgium.
That's not a particularly good purchase he's got there in the left hand. Heel hooks allowed him to get some support with the right though before moving up into this pinch.
Auf den Weg in das Finale.
This is a big reach for him here now. This is 4th place now that he's in, but it's still not safe. He needs to get up into at least 2nd, at which point Magnus Midtbo might be getting a little bit concerned. And actually Thomas Ballet is now above Midtbo as well, but this is looking good for Min Hyun Bin. He still looks relatively in control, shook out a little bit there, but there we are, moving up now. This is looking like he's in the final. Mathilde Brumain coming out now for Belgium. That was a slip there from Min Hyun Bin, that was unexpected. It was his foot giving way on the hold beneath him, but he is in the final and secures that place. And that was a slip with the foot that cost him. It wasn't an exhaustion. Fantastic effort there for Hyun Bin. And he just nearly judo kicked Mario Lechner in the face on his way down, so that's a way to come out of it. Mathilde Brumain now starting off her climb.
On the way. And now we're waiting for the next.
So Mathilde qualified in 9th place, which means that none of our female athletes are currently safe, and she won't be either, even if she tops here. There's still a chance that she might not make it through to the final. She had a top on her first route earlier today and a 45 plus on her second. Mathilde, 24 years old, world ranked 17th. She came 6th at Chamonix at the European Championships. And looking at the results over the last year, in 2012, she came 8th here in Imst, made it through to the final here, so she did well here last year. She came 6th at Mokpo last year, which is the one that Min Hyun Bin managed to take 1st place, got the gold medal. And here's Manuel Ramon coming out now to climb. Sister also making a name for herself as moving up from the junior circuit into the senior circuit. Salome Ramon. Manuel starting his climb for today. Very relaxed climber, Manuel Ramon. Takes the wall very seriously, but when he's down on the ground, he's not one of those ones that you'll see in isolation with the headphones in, just zoning out, concentrating or freaking out about coming out and starting his climb. He's always one of the guys in the ISO that's joking around the back, relaxing. Only gets serious when he comes out and starts his climbing.
Team Blue, ladies and gentlemen, from Belgium, and she's definitely in the queue for the final. And she's counting to the best woman in the World Cup. 8th place, so within the first 8 finalists last year. Here in
Manuel looking good so far, nice and controlled. Any support you might have, send it in to us on Twitter. We just had a load of support that I missed, unfortunately, Hannah. But I'll shout it out now to say, go on, Min Hyun Bin. From Hannah Wunsch. Mathilde looking a little bit pumped here. Still under control. At the moment.
Auch einer, der zur Weltspitze gehört. Und zwar 5. 2009 beim Weltcup hier in Imst. 8. Platz bei der
Manu starting to approach the top of the prow.
Und letztes Jahr 2012
Ramon putting in a good performance for us just recently. At the start of this year, he qualified in 6th today.
die Weltspitze.
He won in Briançon last year, if you remember. He's 25 years old.
Und zeigt doch hier, jetzt in den nächsten Kletterminuten auf was geht's.
You can probably hear a lot of children shouting "Allez Mathilde" next to us. They're not actually even that close to where our cameras are, they're just that loud. Offering some support for Mathilde. Manu Ramon.
She's moving like a spider.
So into the roof now, Mathilde. As I said, she was looking a little bit pumped earlier. Still seems to be in control though, it's not getting away from her just yet. Can she get up above this roof?
That's your chance.
Manu with that heel hook we've seen most of the senior athletes using before moving on to that pinch and getting them up onto the higher section, the upper section of the wall here. There you can see where they both are on the wall, not far at all from the upper section. Still managing to cling on in there. This next move has been a critical point as well for the women. And it was again here, and also for Manu. Twin falls. So Manu not in a particularly comfortable position now. We've still got quite a few athletes still to come. Mathilde. Very similar situation for her as well. So both these athletes not in a particular comfortable place at the moment. So our next two athletes are about to come out. That will be Gaudier Super for France. And we will be seeing Dinara Fakhridinova for Russia. Dinara, who could very easily be within a shot of topping out on the women's route. I can see her just tottering out to the front now. This is the point of the evening where the athletes are going to struggle to keep warm. They've been in the building below in ISO for a while. There is a warm-up wall on there. They can keep busy. But when they are led up to get ready to come out, it is quite cold there now. They're going to have to try and keep themselves warm before they come out onto the wall. Our new European champion, Dinara Fakhridinova. She's having a little look before she starts to climb here.
Ladies and gentlemen, is representing France again. And
so Dinara Fakhridinova for Russia.
the year 1990.
Still a definite improvement in this athlete from last year to this.
And last year,
As I mentioned before, she seemed to have the curse of 9th place last year.
And now, ladies and gentlemen,
And for times before that, she's sort of skyrocketed. She's managed to make finals quite frequently now. And Gauthier Super coming out for the men's. So Dinara just starting off. Gauthier Super as well, just starting off for the men's. We'll take you over to see him in a few moments' time. There you can see him just peeking into the bottom of the screen there. In fact, there he is. Gauthier Super, the 22-year-old athlete from Colmar, world ranked 20th. Currently on the World Cup rankings though, he's in 7th. He came 7th at Briançon, and that's why he's in that position at the start of this year. First World Cup, so made the finals there. Is he going to be able to do the same thing here? He came 10th at the European Championships in Chamonix this year. 7th at Cran 7th at Cran 2011. 7th at Amman in 2011. Best results overall on the senior circuit for the IFSC Climbing World Cups was a bronze medal at Zinning in 2010. So that bronze medal in Zinning, the high point for him. He has been on a podium before. He's starting to make finals quite frequently. Quite a fitting match. Dinara and Gauthier climbing at the same time. Dinara, world ranked 7th. Fourth at Briançon, first at the European Championships in Chamonix. She is our new European champion. 7th at Inzai at the end of last year, 3rd at Mokpo, 7th at Atlanta. And multiple first place positions on the female junior lead categories as well. Here she is gunning for a place in the final. So does Dinara have what it takes to give us a top here? And does Gauthier? Still no tops in the semi-finals. Seen Ramone come very, very close, but unfortunately no tops yet today at the semi-final level. And in fact, the only two male athletes to top at all, one route, let alone two, were Sachiyama and Jakob Schubert. They're still yet to climb. They topped both of their routes earlier today. This long route for the men's should suit Sachi. Dinara taking the time here on this one.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Both athletes now starting to move towards the top of the prow.
And France, Gauthier Super.
Dinara has the roof ahead of her, and Gauthier has this traverse section that's splitting her athletes at the moment. Both athletes really taking their time, shaking out a little bit, grabbing a bit more chalk before they're carrying on. It's been a long day for these athletes. They must be feeling it now. So Dinara now into the roof section. One of the smaller athletes as well. There is some quite reach-based moves in this roof section, especially when she comes out of the roof to get up onto the flat a little bit higher up. And for Gauthier, these next 2-3 moves are critical for him as well.
Dinara, dabei. You're on a really good move, on a good way.
So these next couple of moves for Gauthier, make or break time. And that, unfortunately, slipping there, again puts him in a risky position. Still got a few more athletes yet to come, 4 in total. We'll have a look at the results on the wall in a few moments' time, just to see what we're looking at so far. There's Dinara Fakhriddinova. This next move is all about having a very wide 8. You can see there the distance from where she is to where she's got to reach up to. Those 2 more or less directly above her knee.
Dinara Fakhriddinova. Well done.
The MC just gave out the best pronunciation of Dinara's last name I've ever heard. Dinara Fakhriddinova. The producer has just said, "What? And you're perfect." Yes, my pronunciation of Fakhriddinova is perfect. He disagrees. Dinara then, this is the good place to be right now. Dinara starting to push forward. I said when she started to climb, this could be our athlete that could possibly get our first top here today. She keeps her head at this point now.
Wow!
Slip with the foot there. It's obviously surprised her because she screamed. She had that dramatic fall at Briançon as well, but she hurt her neck falling at that point. Is it weird for me to suggest that some of these climbers need to work on their falling?
And ladies and gentlemen, we welcome
Dinara just finishing up there.
Here on the stage in the semi-final, Jean McCall. And as we know from the last years, his performance is amazing. He's really good at bouldering.
So Jean McCall now comes out onto the wall.
In the leads. Our really talents in motion. Our really talent in his head when he's competing. And he's really fast.
So Sean, 43 plus in the first climb earlier today, 39 plus in the second. Put him in joint 3rd place with Ramon de Grange, the new European champion, Ramon de Grange. Sean McCall, 25 years old, from Canada, world ranked 4th. Came 4th at Vail in the bouldering and at Innsbruck in the bouldering this year. Took the first gold medal in bouldering this year in Log Dragomer. Had a long chat with him earlier on today. He's just got back from the World Games as well, where he came 5th.
And ladies and gentlemen, welcome.
I don't know, I keep saying it for nearly every athlete that's coming out now, but any of these athletes could easily show us a top here. Sean is another one of them for the men's, and Kim Dae-in has just come out for the women's. She could very easily show us a top here as well. Jain took the gold medal Briançon just recently, silver medal at the World Games. Mina Markovic putting on quite a show at the World Games.
So, ladies and gentlemen, Sean McCall from Canada. This year, 7th in Kitzbühel, 4th in Innsbruck. 2012
Sean
was 9th in Vienna, and 3rd here.
Now moving up towards the top point on the prow. As I said, either of these athletes could show us our first top here.
And he's coming up now.
That producer has his money on Kim Jae-in, which not only means that she has to top, she also has to beat Sean to the top if she's going to top.
To the final tomorrow.
So we're talking about the first athlete to top here. So Kim Jae-in, very, very slow and steady start. She's only about 6 moves away from the start here. Really taking her time. Clearly seen that it's going to be an endurance
Good job. Really nice. Come on.
based route.
Wow. Here we go.
So yes, definitely worth mentioning that although Sean has been quite frequently seen on the bouldering circuit this year, this is only his second lead. And that's very, very surprising. That wasn't what we'd have expected at all there from Sean McCall. He also just nearly took out the sound desk, which was really interesting. It's looking like we're not going to be seeing Sean in the final then. A slip very early on. Well, you might see him with us in Canada commentating at the World Youth Championships. Very surprising to see Sean coming down there. Just as I was saying, yes, this is... we didn't see Sean in Briançon. We didn't see him at Chamonix either, as he's not European. He's from Canada. We just was at the World Games.
Thank you for your performance. And we're coming up with the guy.
And this is his first
who is coming from France.
World Cup. So the producer is in the clear then. All Kim Jae-in has to do is top.
With the State World Cup 2012. He was competing in the European Championship in Leeds in Imst 2010, and he's representing France.
Hannah Wunsch saying, is Dmitry Fakirainov not competing today? No, he's not actually. I haven't seen him here. Interesting.
And his name?
Romain Desgrange is now out, and he's our new European champion. Very surprising to see Sean coming down at that point. Oh well, no final for him. Kim Jae-in though, I think Kim actually might be well within a chance of timing out here. She's not very high at all, and she's been climbing for quite a long time. She's really taking her time on this. She's going to need to get a bit of a move on.
Sie lässt sich Zeit. 8 Minuten hat sie ja, 8 Minuten Kletterzeit im Rahmen dieses Semifinales. Und die nützt sie wahrscheinlich aus. Bei der Qualifikation war sie auch ganz knapp am Ende der Zeit. Sie hat einen sehr langsamen und sehr ausdauernden Kletterstil. Und sie muss halt nur schauen, dass sie rechtzeitig in die oberen Sphären kommt, um ihr nicht aus der Zeit zu fallen.
So the athletes have 8 minutes to climb on this one. I wanted to go and double check that one. We weren't sure whether it was 6 or 8 for the semi-finals and for the finals. It is 8 minutes that they are allowed. Kim Jae-in here now climbing. Manira saying, isn't her name Jaehan Kim, not Kim Jae-in? I'm pretty sure Kim is her last name. No? Yes, it absolutely is. You're completely right. But I do it as a hats off to the Koreans, as they say the last name first when they are introduced. It's a tradition in Korea to say the last name first, so I do the same thing. Sometimes I get confused and say the other way around. Kim Jae-in. Well, she's definitely used quite a large proportion of those 8 minutes that she's allotted for the semi-finals. Big swing out there though as well, but she's managed to hold it. Can she keep going from here on? Ramon de Grange also approaching the cut-off point for the men. Oh, unfortunately no. There's a big fall as well there. The producer's calling for an appeal. He's saying it was the B layer. It's the B layer's fault.
And now, ladies and gentlemen,
Ramon de Grange.
Here in this semi-final go.
Are we going to see a top? That's the question. Hasn't been from Kim Jae-in. Will we see one at all at the women's? Still have Mina Markovic yet to come, and she's definitely starting to improve this year as well. The World Games, a gold medal there for her. Ramon de Grange, a European champion then. One of the older athletes as well. Just like Ramone, can he outdo it? Munira, nice to hear from you again. You're more than welcome.
Really good performance he's showing us today.
Oh, just unfortunately, Ramon de Grange slipping at that point.
That's your loss.
It could still be good enough to see him into the finals.
And ladies and gentlemen, we're coming to the next lady. She's representing Russia. And we are wondering about her performance.
So we have a few more athletes still yet to come. This is Yana Cherishneva coming out now for us. She had a top on her first climb earlier today, had a 49 plus on the second. She's qualifying in 6th place, so 5 more still to come after her. Still all to play for in the women's then. Cherishneva. A 24-year-old athlete from Krasnoyarsk, now living in Moscow. World ranked 27th. She came 11th at the European Championships in Chamonix this year. 11th at the bouldering in Chongqing at the very start of this year as well. She came 10th in Imst last year here. The best result so far to date for Yana is a bronze medal at Cran 2011. That was the last time she stood on a podium. Is she going to be able to stand on a podium here? So, it's looking like we're about to get ready for our next male athlete. We only have 2 more male athletes still to come, and it is Jakob Schubert and Sachi Ama, the only 2 athletes that have managed to top at all today, and they've done it twice. Both athletes in tied first with 2 tops earlier on today. They are about to come out, not at the same time. Jana Scherishneva then. Still 5 more female athletes to go after this.
Debüt in diesem Semifinale und definitiv für den Einzug ins Finale morgen um 19:30 Uhr. Meine Damen und Herren, wir begrüßen in diesen und wenigen Augenblicken, und hier ist er, meine Damen und Herren, Sakiyama!
And here is our next athlete as well. We're going to go over and having a look at him in a moment. It is Sachi Ama, and as I mentioned before, Sachi Ama and Jakob Schubert, the only 2 male athletes who have topped today. And they did it twice in the qualifications. Both athletes, Jakob Schubert and Sachi Ama, 2 tops in the qualifications. The only 2 male athletes to have even got 1 so far today. So here's Jana Scherishneva, really taking her time on this one as well. So a lot of the female athletes going slow on that one. Kim Yain, what a surprise to see her coming down at that point, but it should be enough to see her through to the finals. Unless these last few athletes really pull something out of the bag on the women's route. Sachi Ama then, I think it was Sachi that I put my money with at the very start of this competition and said that it could be him. So I'm going to go with that one against Jakob. Any predictions you guys might have, get them into us on Twitter. You can do so using the hashtag IFSCWC. So Scherishneva, 24 years old, lives in Moscow, currently world ranked 27th. She's 28th in the overall rankings so far for this year, 2013. And Sachi Ama, our world ranked number 1 at present. 23 years old from Tochigi. Lives in Utsunomiya Shi. Had a silver medal in Briançon. Last year, a silver medal at Cran, a bronze medal at Inzai, and a silver medal at Mokpo. Gold medals at both Briançon and Chamonix last year. And it's looking like I've got myself confused because we've had a shift in the world rankings as well. This is probably due to the World Games and Briançon being taken into account, as Ramonet has had a fantastic start to this year. Ramonet is now world ranked number 1. Sachi Ama drops down into 2nd place, which is a huge jump up from Ramonet, as he was sitting in 3rd place actually, which is now Schubert. So we've had a shift on the world rankings. It's now Ramonet again. Just shows you how fast it changes. It is still raining.
From Japan, Sakiyama.
Wanira saying Gamba Gamba Sachi. And Sheila McCarran is with me on this one. She thinks it could be Sachi as well. Is it going to be? He's now moving up. This is going to be the traverse section in a moment.
And now he is focused for another go. Firstly into the final.
Commander's with me as well. Go team. It's going to be Sachi all the way.
For a good
Jana Scherishneva.
and ladies and gentlemen,
Decent point on the roof there. Again, I'm not entirely sure what's going on with the women's. We'll try and have a look at where the rankings stand in a moment. I'm not sure whether that's going to be enough to secure her a place. We still have Katarina Sarvine, Momoka Oda, Magdalena Roek, Mina Markovic and Elin Janiko yet to climb. The girls are way behind. Trust Sachi though to rest on the hold that looks and has been a bit dodgy at this point on the wall for a lot of the other male athletes. That one in the middle of those two volumes, he's now just put his left foot on it. We've seen athletes slip there quite frequently at the start of the semi-finals, and there's Sachi just taking a rest with one hand on it. Well, here he is starting to move up towards the top 8. I think Sean knows already that he's not going to be making it through. Interesting resting position there with the feet as well. Sachi taking a moment to shake it out as well. This is all just about not getting too far ahead of yourself. He's not really one to rush anyway though. I think if anything it'll be a slip, just a mistake that brings him down. He doesn't look too bad, he's shaking out quite a bit. But he hasn't got the shakes, which is a good thing.
So, meine Damen und Herren, jetzt wird's hier auf der Bühne interessant für alle Damen, meine Damen und Herren.
What about taking his time? He's got his leg caught around this rope, though he's going to need to sort that out. There we go. And now go for the draw before moving on. Getting himself into a fiddly position here, though. Can he hold it? Still a fair few moves from the end. Again, a fiddly position here. He's got to hold on to this. I thought that was going to be it, but he's managed to hold it. Next one after it. Unfortunately, it is not Sachiyama. He is still smiling, though. It was definitely that clip, that draw. It's exactly the same thing that we saw happen to Ramone, only Ramone was a little bit higher up. Getting in a mix-up with the draws. Katarina Sarvine then. Had a nice chat to her earlier today at the qualifications about how she prefers bouldering. But we won't talk about that for now because she's here to do some lead climbing and the crowd have really just got behind her as they would. It's a home crowd here in Austria. Katja Sarvine starting her climb here. Just one more male athlete to come. One more chance at getting a top, and it rests with Jakob Schubert. And to say again, this is their third climb of the day. Every athlete that you're seeing here has already climbed 2 full routes on this wall. Not quite the full height of the wall, around 18 to 19 meters. The overall length, so not a full 21.5 meters in height, though these routes are. But still around 40 to 50 holds on those routes. Here they are for the third climb. It is purely a matter of endurance at this stage. Though I won't boycott the skill that's involved as well. So, anybody watching, is it going to be Jakob? Will we see one on the men's? And to move over onto the women's, who do we think it will be for the women as well? So here we are for the women's then. Jana Charishneva currently holding the 8th place position with 46. That is what you have to beat to get into the final. Fakritinova is safe, very much safe. Evgenia Malamed is looking pretty safe, and so is Kim Yain. Jessica Pills as well looking safe. We'll wait and see. It's looking like we're going to see Pills in a final. This is good. So, Jakob Schubert is out as well now. We'll take you to a cut screen in a moment. We'll be able to see the final climb for the men's. This is the one that our producer has the money riding on. Quite a few of the athletes actually, despite not making it through into the final, still hanging around at the bottom of the wall here. I can see Mikhail Chernikov, I can see Maya Vidmar, all relaxing at the bottom of the wall here. See Evgenia Malamid as well.
Wenn wir sie hier unterstützen müssen.
Jakob Schubert, Katharina Sarwein.
Wir beide.
Und das Allerbeste für die beiden.
Katharina Sarwein, winner of the Kids Rock Festival last year. Manira crying out for Schubert as well. Sarwein qualifying in 5th place. There's still 4 more to come after her. So Pils isn't quite safe yet. She's 25 years old. She lives in Innsbruck. World ranked 36th. She was 7th at Vail at the bouldering this year, 6th in Toronto. And that is the only final since Kitzbühel actually this year, and Myon that we've seen. She's had the curse of 6th place, just making it through into the final, but not quite managing to move up into the podium positions yet on the IFSC circuit. How is she going to get on here with the lead? And it's looking like that early fall might have cost Katja a place in the finals here. Bit of a shocker. Seen a couple of them this evening. Back down on the ground. Jakob, though, our world champion, currently in 3rd place on the world rankings, now moving his way up the right-hand side of the prow on the men's semi-final route.
Und wir sind immer wieder hochfasziniert von seinen Ressourcen, die er hat. Jakob Schubert.
Eine Koryphäe im Lied. Seit den Jahren 2004 ganz massiv in der Weltcup-Szene unterwegs.
So there is Schubert at the bottom. There is the point that he has to beat. It's a 43 plus, at which point he would shoot up into 7th place, and Gautier Super would drop down into 8th due to countback. So Jakob Schubert has got to beat 43 plus. It would knock Manu Roman out of the final. So Manu is no doubt a little bit on edge right now, but Ramone is in, Amma is in, Min is in.
Und bei den Damen, meine Damen und Herren, begrüßen wir jetzt eine, die auch hier
Jakob Schubert still quite a way away from the 43 plus.
Japan.
Taking his time, shaking out a little bit here. And now it is time for Momoka Oda to take to the stand. 19 years old, a world youth champion, already flying up to the top of the world rankings on the senior circuit as well. Oda could very much be one of the ones to show us the top here. It was interesting though, I was watching her stand next to Mina Markovic and Kim Gain, who were all doing their little bit of climb mime while they were watching and having their observation period earlier today, and Momoka was copying what Kim and Mina Markovic were doing at the bottom of the wall, as opposed to taking too long to look herself. A lot of support from the Austrian team here for Jakob.
Auf geht's! Bleib dran, ruhig gut! Jawohl!
Okay, so I believe this next move should see him through
Und noch weiter!
and knock Manu Ramon out. I believe he is in. Manu Ramon is now out.
Und weiter! Jawohl!
And he slipped just after as well, so he's only just scraped in.
Super! Ich glaub,
Maybe he
das
knew.
reicht für das Finale.
He's lost the shoe.
Wir schauen es uns jetzt auch ganz aktuell an, hier in der Wertung.
Und zwar bei den Herren.
Im Rahmen dieser
So Momoka Oda, the men's is finished then. We can have a look at that top 8 in a few moments' time.
Jochen Schuberts, der letzte quasi bei den Herren.
Momoka Oda still climbing, and a few more to come after her. The 3 tied first place positions, Ellen Janiko, Mina Markovic and Magdalena Roek.
Finale um
Still to climb.
Mit den Männern beginnt es morgen, mit den Damen geht es dann um 20:20 Uhr weiter. Und danach die Prize-Giving Ceremony. Und ja, es hat locker gereicht, 5. Somit ist er im Finale, der Jockel. Super gemacht. Das freut uns. Und somit haben wir derzeit, oder kann ich das vorzeitige Ergebnis, bis es offiziell verkündigt wird, mal sagen. Ramon, Julian Paul-Baum, Sakiyama, Hugh Min, Romain Desgrange, Jakob Schubert, Thomas Ballet, Magnus Nicoy und Gauthier Super. Das sind die derzeit 8 Finalisten der Männer.
So Momoka Oda still climbing here. We will be back after we finish up. We still have 3 more climbs to come after Momoka. But we'll be back tomorrow evening at 7 p.m. local time. We have the introduction of the athletes to go through. Give you a bit of coverage as well while they have their observation time before they start their climbing at 7:30, I believe. So we'll be back at about 7 p.m. to say hello, get ready for the grand final, and we'll be able to see who those 8 men and 8 women are going to be in a few moments' time.
Und zwar auch 5. in Innsbruck. 10. beim Weltcup, beim Boulder-Weltcup in Kitzbühel. Dann 2. bei der Jugendweltmeisterschaft
2011 hier in Imst. Und 2. 2010 beim Weltcup in Wien. Also sie weiß, um was es geht, und sie ist unter den weltbesten Weltathletinnen und natürlich ganz vorne im Weltcup-Zirkus. Aus Japan, Momoka Oda.
Momoka taking a time about this one. Momoka taking a time on this one. Had an incredible burst onto the scene, as it were, in the senior circuit a few years ago, actually, Momoka. Always worth bearing in mind the age. She's only 19 years old. She's from Yamaguchi, and she first started getting those really high results as she started to move in 2011. That's when she really started to make a name for herself, though she was getting into finals as far back as 2010 as well. 3 years ago, at 16 years old, she was making the finals at Chamonix. 2010 she came 6th there, but the real burst onto the scene for her is around 2011, where she made frequent finals all the way through that year, and she hasn't stopped really doing that since then. And she's also a boulderer as well as a lead climber. Very strong, multiple discipline athlete. Nice to hear from Commander as well, all the way from Canada, saying, if anyone asks, I'm actually hard at work at my office. The coverage of Imst is just background noise.
She's going ahead.
So you're going to have to deal with that shout out now, Commander. You're going to have to explain that to your boss, who's probably just heard that echoing around in the background. Commander, do some work. You've only got a week. Momoka Oda here now then, still approaching the top point on the roof. This point, this next move has cost a couple of athletes. Momoka has quite a wide ape though, she should be okay here. Looks very comfortable actually, doing that up and up again with the left hand. Kim Da-in didn't make it much further past this point. This is looking good for Momoka. Big swing out there though, she manages to hold it. Can she stay though? So now she's going to need to clip in. Looking like she's trying to find a better position. This is good for Momoka. MC needs to calm down a little bit. Is a drop knee. Our MC needs to calm down. Don't make us jump or surprise now. God, she just misses it out, but I think that's a new high point. A fantastic effort there from Momoka Oda. That'll definitely see her through into the finals. Momoka Oda. It's going to look good for her as well. When it comes to countback in the final, that's going to be a good place to be in. Back down on the ground though, Momoka Oda. Still 3 more female athletes yet to come. Momoka just getting sorted at the bottom of the wall there.
Jetzt wird spannend. Und zwar eine Dame, die wir heute schon in der Qualifikation hier bestaunen konnten.
And Nat Berry is tuning in. Hello Nat Berry, we miss you Nat Berry. You should be here at the semi-finals. See that umbrella at the bottom corner? That's where you should be. Nat Berry, you commentated with me at the semi-finals and the finals at Briançon just recently. So 3 more female athletes yet to come. The first of those is Magdalena Roek. Her brother was climbing earlier today and now she emerges to make her climb here. So here we go, Magdalena Roek. Another very well-known name, another very young athlete. Started to make a name for herself. She was born in 1994, specialises in lead climbing and has been a member of the Austrian national youth climbing team since 2008. She was Youth World Champion in 2011. She won the 2011 European Youth Series. She also took the bronze medal at the IFSC Climbing World Championship in Arco in 2011. That's the senior category as well there, just to remind you all. 18 podium positions between 2009 and 2011 at the European Youth Cups and other competitions, and 12 of those 18 were gold medals. She was World Cup ranked 8th at the end of 2012, first at the Female Juniors Lead European Youth Championship in Zemozak in 2012 as well. So multiple times youth champion. 3rd at the Senior World Cup at Purs 2012, 4th at the Senior World Cup in Zinning last year as well. Born in 1994, Magdalena Roek. 2 more after her still to come, Mina Markovic and Elin Janiko. Shira with the shout out to Momoka saying brilliant climb. It was. I thought she might go all the way there for a moment.
So ladies and gentlemen, the results of the men
As published on the official board out, so you have 10 minutes time. 5 minutes, sorry, excuse me, 5 minutes time from now on. The official results are published on the official boards. 5 Minuten Zeit für den Protest.
And as Magdalena is just getting towards the interesting point on the wall for us in a few moments' time, oh, we've got a moment. Let's have a look at what the men's standings are looking like at the moment then. Magnus Midtbo manages yet again to get through. It is Ramon Julien Blanc at the top there with a 56 plus, Sachi Ama with 49 plus, and Min Hyunbin as well with a 49 plus. Ramon de Grange 48 plus, Jakob Schubert makes it through 46 plus, Thomas Ballet 45 plus, Magnus Midtbo 44 plus, and Gautier Sappe with a 43 plus. What a nice spread we have there as we move through into the finals. That's going to be great for Countback if we have any ties in the finals as well. But it's all about Ramone. Look at the difference there, 49 plus to 56 plus, just inches away from a top. And these are the women's as they're standing at the moment. We've still got Magdalena quite low on the ball. There you can see she's nowhere near making through into the top 8 just yet. It is Momoka Oda at the very top here. Janara Fakhridinova underneath her. Evgenia Malamid. Kim Yain in 4th. Jessica Pills as well here in 5th place. So after, it is now looking like Jessica Pills is safe. It is Mathilde Bruman, Rebecca Stotts and Tina Sesterzik who now have to worry, and what a shame it's going to be if Tina Sesterzik goes out at this point now. She held the high point and has been in the top 8 since her climb, and she was the first athlete out at the very beginning of these semi-finals. A great performance from her. It's going to be such a shame to lose her at this point, but we still have 3 very strong athletes chasing their way into that top 8 now, still yet to come. Magdalena Roek is looking strong, comfortable and calm here at this point as she approaches the roof. A shout out from Hannah Wunsch as well, saying wonderful climbing by Momoka Oda, so close to a top. So guys, the question remains now that the men's is finished, are we going to see a top today in the semi-finals? We have Magdalena, we have Mina, and we have Ellen still to come. Do you think we will?
Die frisch gebackene Junioren-Europameisterin 2013. Kann man ganz klar zeigen, was in ihr steckt.
Different method there of getting up onto that second hold, those two together. We've seen left and then up with the left again, predominantly from the female athletes. Magdalena choosing to go up with the right and then cross over with the left to take the next hold. Just the difference. It's the last Austrian athlete to climb today.
Jawohl, spielen! Auf geht's, weiter geht's!
The crowd are right behind her as well. Looking very comfortable. This is good for Magdalena.
Wow.
We saw her pull out a top just recently at Briançon as well. Did exceptionally well there. Crowd right behind her, and she was just one move away from the top. One move and a clip, but it's bested Momoka Oda. This is exactly what we wanted to see for the excitement towards the end of the semi-finals. Magdalena Roek, fantastic.
Macht sich hier, bildet sich hier aus und wir wissen, sie ist definitiv ganz vorne mit dabei. Ist im Finale, das weiß ich, das habe ich ganz persönlich gesehen, kann es persönlich beurteilen. Proteste gibt es hoffentlich keine. So geht's. Freut uns ganz besonders. Und jetzt stehen noch zwei Damen hier an, meine Damen und Herren.
So, Magdalena Roak holding the new high point on the wall. Another very, very close climb. Very close towards the top. Nat Berry saying you're going to see us in Munich. That sounds good to me. Mike's saying we don't want you to commentate there, Nat. We want you to do well. I, on the other hand, am exactly the opposite. I don't want you to do well in Munich. I want you to come and commentate instead.
Bei der Jugend-Europaserie und jetzt hier bei uns
Meisterschaft, vierte in Imst 2011, jetzt ist sie da. Meine Damen und Herren, Helle!
Mike's saying he wants you to win in Munich. So it's looking like we're going to save Mina until last here. It is Ellen Janiko. Sheila McCarran, whatever you're doing needs to come back to the screen now. Ellen Janiko starts her climb. Another young athlete. Janiko with 2 tops earlier today. 19 years old. World ranked 4th. 3rd at Briançon this year. 3rd at Chamonix this year. So 2 bronze medals already. And there have only been 2 real events for her to go to other than the World Games so far this year. Looking at the results from last year then, made finals at practically every event in 2012, took the gold at Briançon, took 4th place at Chamonix last year, 5th place at Perth, 6th at Atlanta, 5th at Zinning, 2nd at the European Youth Championship. After all of those events, still in 2012, competing at the female junior category. And she's world ranked 4th. Oh, shocker here. Nat Berry is not competing in Munich. Although you're definitely commentating, that's what Mike's saying, and I'm going to agree with him, Nat. Although you might have some competition, because I think John Partridge might be around as well.
Für mich und uns, aber es lohnt sich. Es geht was weiter. Es freut mich ganz besonders.
Für das österreichische Team muss man ein bisschen heimparteiisch sein, dass es wieder mal so toll und erfolgreich hier verläuft im Rahmen dieses Semifinales. Und morgen wird es dann richtig spannend, meine Damen und Herren, wenn es dann ins Finale geht. So um 19 Uhr die Präsentation der Finalisten und Finalistinnen. Und dann um 19:30 Uhr geht es dann los mit den Herren. Und ich bin schon riesig gespannt. Das Wetter passt auch morgen, das haben wir schon bestellt. So the weather tomorrow is really good forecasted. And we wish a nice evening tomorrow with a really amazing final here on the stage here in Imst, Austria for
Ellen then starting to move up into the roof section.
Second last climber within the woman competition.
So Moeka Oda sets the bar even higher, and then straight away after that Magdalena Roak comes out and raises it a little bit more. Is Ellen going to be able to carry on that run? Going slow and steady. Still looking okay at the moment, not too pumped at all. She's taking those moments to shake out, using the time that she has. Resting on a clip there for a moment. Didn't look like she used it for too long, and hopefully that won't cause any issues. So here we go, into the roof now. This is where she is at the moment. She has to beat 48 plus to get into the final. Rebecca Stotz currently holding on to that one. And that's where she is on the wall. So a little way still to go yet. And despite the fact that we've seen no top so far in the semis, I think the route setters have done a fantastic job of both of these routes for the semi-finals and for the qualies earlier today as well. So a nice split in the male athletes that have qualified. We're seeing a split as well in the female athletes that have made it through. And an interesting take to make it more about endurance as well. They've told me that they're going to save all the interesting, crazy, more bouldery style moves for the finals, make it a little bit more exciting, a little bit more risky. We look forward to seeing that tomorrow. You can come back and join us tomorrow at 7 p.m. local time to us here in Imst.
Go ahead, come on!
A little bit shaky here for Hélène.
Hélène Jericho, she's working hard, well done!
And she's gone. Now, was that enough to see her through? I'm not sure it was. I think it might just have been, but I do believe that she was up around 50, but we're going to have that checked in a moment. She started to move over to the right, I'm sure of it. Should be just about in, I think. Means we lose Rebecca Stotz. We will check.
Das Ergebnis der Judges
und in weiterer Folge das Ranking für das Finale. Aber eine Dame steht ja noch an und bevor sie hier auf der Matte steht, dürfen wir uns mal ganz herzlich bedanken bei unseren Sponsoren. Castainer Tirol Edelweiss aus der Alpin, HRT, Safety Holds, Imst, Valtopia und Reifeisen, das Sportministerium und die Stadt Imst. Die Bezirksblätter, Rauch und dann natürlich ein ganz herzliches Dankeschön an unsere Veranstalter und Partner. Allen voran das Kletterzentrum Imst hier, die das Ganze organisieren und durchführen. Alpenverein Imst Oberlands, der österreichische Alpenverein, österreichische Weltkletterverband und die IFSC. Meine Damen und Herren, und jetzt die letzte Dame und wir wissen, die Zweitplatzierte letztes Jahr. Ein unglaublicher Ritt, den sie da letztes Jahr hingelegt hat. Auch ein ganz souveränes.
So Sheila saying, yep, route setters have definitely done their job. No equals going into the final. Time will not be the deciding factor, which is always good. And here we are then with our very last climb of today. It has been a long one. We started earlier this morning at 10 o'clock. It's now that time here of the evening. So we get ready for Mina Markovic, the last female athlete to come out and climb for us here today. Last athlete to climb for us today as well. Mina with 2 tops earlier. Had the gold medal at the World Games and hasn't had very long at all to rest in between then. Just saying from a conversation we were having the other day with this, she had about 12 hours back at home before she had to head out to here. After getting back from the World Games in Cali. Second at Briançon, second at Chamonix at the European Championships. Currently world ranked second, just behind Kim Dain. Mina Markovic, can we see a top? Let's go out with a bang. And in a moment we'll see where she needs to be and see whether Hélène has secured that place in the final. Sue Renault saying Mina for top. Fingers crossed that she makes a start here.
Und 2011 bei der Weltcup in Wien und 2012 ein tolles Jahr. Beim Weltcup in Imst Zweite hier und in Wien Zweite. Und in diesem Jahr Fünfte.
So, in current 8th place is Mathilde Bruman.
Und noch viele andere tolle Platzierungen.
There it is, 49 plus. So yes, Janiko thought around the 50th. She got 51 plus, which puts her in 6th place and through to the finals. She is safe, but it is Mathilde who's going to be a little bit worried now as Mina Markovic starts her climb here.
And she's going into the semi, through the semi-final, into the final, as we know.
Mina really taking her time off at the start of the wall here. Finding rests, starting slow. She probably has some inkling of roughly where she needs to get to. Some of the other Slovenian athletes have been out and climbing. We've seen her coach, Roman, is sitting at the bottom of the wall now next to Maja Vidmar, watching her climb. As I mentioned at the very beginning, Mina has been world ranked #1, and after a performance at the World Games, is she going to try and get back up onto that top spot yet again, knock Kim Jae-in out of the way?
Martinova from Russia auf der dritten, Evgenia Malamud auf der vierten, Jan Kim auf der fünften, Helene Janikon auf der sechsten, Jessica Pilz auf der siebten und Mathilde Bruman derzeit auf der achten. Jetzt ist die Frage,
Was macht hier Mina Markovic? Wen verdrängt sich heraus von den ersten 8?
Very interesting point here from Commander, saying go Mina, amazed at all the athletes who are competing in Imst after Colombia. A hard time zone change in such a short time. That's a sentence. Yes, very difficult shift in time zone for them. Saying Mina only 12 hours back at home before having to head down to Imst after landing from Cali. Sean was saying earlier as well, in cross-continental competitions, it is a rule that they have to leave a week in between each competition so the athletes are able to rest, usually. Not so for the World Games though, they haven't had much time at all, and that's across continental definitely, before starting up this second IFSC Climbing World Cup in 2013.
Mina Markovic in ihrer bekannten Manier.
And the other interesting thing to bear in mind is at least that they don't have to drive after. I'll get my words right in a minute. They don't have to drive across half a continent at the next competition. At least they don't have to do that to get to that next one, like they had to do to get here in Imst, and like we have to do.
Mina Markovic.
A lot of support here for Mina. She's now in the final. Mathilde's out. But we want to see her top here. Oh, a little bit of a slip from that foot there. Drop knee going on.
Nice.
Ready for that clip. I'll take a bit of a slow approach on these last few moves. As Paul said at the very start of the day, it is these last 4 moves that are going to be the toughest point on the wall here. There you can see where she is. She's just not got to rush. She needs to slow down. Don't rush here. Concentrate towards getting that top clip in. Another drop knee, switching into the other drop knee. And it is the same point we saw Magdalena Roek come down. Such a shame, but a fantastic way to finish our semi-finals. Mina Markovic making it through into the finals. Right at the top of the pile, it's going to put her in very good stead as she moves through into the finals as well. She's got a smile on her face, she's going to be happy. There's Helmut. Carnaval. Mina giving some high fives to Roman, her coach, and that hood you can see in blue is Maya Vidmar at the bottom of the wall. Fantastic effort there for her. So, in a few moments we'll have a look at our results as we have them, who our 16 athletes are going to be, or at least who of these 8 for the women are going to be, now that Mathilde Bruman has unfortunately missed out, coming in 9th place. A nice exciting finish for the semi-finals. Here are the 8 for the male athletes there then. So these are confirmed then. Roman Julien Pugblanc in first place with 56 plus. Sachi Ama in second, 49 plus. Big gap between those two athletes. Min Hyunbin with another 49 plus, but due to countback, will be sitting in third place. And Manuel Roman just missing out in 9th place, not quite making it through. Those are your top 8 for the men that we'll see tomorrow at 7 p.m. local time to us here in Imst. We will be back for the finals. We're going to be waiting, we are just waiting rather, for the women's to be updated before we bring you the top 8 for the female athletes here. Here is how it's looking at the moment. This is, I believe, this is the top 8. Jessica Pills just making it through, 16 years old, in 8th place. Mina Markovic at the very top. Magdalena Roek up there as well. Momoka Oda, Dinara Fakhritinova, Evgenia Malamid, Kim Jae-in, and Ellen Janiko. And Jessica Pills in 8th place, just making it through. Here we are then. 2 tied first place positions, Magdalena Roek and Mina Markovic, which means we could go to a time difference if we have a tie in the final between those 2 athletes, as they tied also at the qualification stage. Interesting result there. So unfortunately no Sheila, we do have a tie. Momoka Oda in 3rd place, and just missing out Mathilde Bruman, unfortunately, in 9th place there. Thank you very much for being with us all the way through the semi-finals. It has been exciting as we move towards the end of that one. Guys, it's only going to get more exciting as we move through to the finals. This arena will be packed. We hope to see you there. Good night from us here at the venue. We'll see you tomorrow, 7 p.m. local time at Imst. Good night.
I tell you one,